I've got one question for you. Are you ready to get your game on?
The longest-running off-road and action motorsports radio show on the planet is coming to you live with the biggest guest in motorsports. Here is the only man on the planet who can pack this much dirt slinging and tire slaying into 2 hours a week. Sit back, strap in, and be prepared to get your ears blown. Here is Jim Beaver and the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
Good morning and welcome to the Down and Dirty Radio Show powered by Polaris RZR. We are here at the 2015 edition of the Polaris RZR Mint 400, hanging out here down on Fremont Street, live on Fremont Street. Activities kicking off. Things are going pretty good. Sitting here with my partner in crime, fighting a little wind, Ami Houde, who's going to be holding it down with me for the next 2.5 hours as we interview some of the biggest drivers in off-road racing. How's everything going, Ami?
Hey, it's going good. Having some fun here in Las Vegas. It's a little bit windy, but
yeah, definitely a little bit windy. We're fighting a little wind here, but yeah, been a great couple of days so far, kicking things off down here on Fremont Street yesterday evening. But even before that, we got people all over the place. Got Ronnie Renner hanging out, playing with his RZR here. We'll get Ronnie on air here at some point later on today. But, yeah, kicking things off. Yeah, he's giving a little bit of elbow rub here at the Polaris RZR booth. But yeah, it's been a great couple of days. We had the parade down Fremont Street with all the race cars that went off the hooks, had some opening parties, had some bands, had some music so far. And then yesterday, time trials and qualifying. And Dale Dondell holding it down, taking home that #1 spot in qualifying. Moved us into last night and even more festivities. Had the Miss Mint competition as well as the KMC Wheels Pit Crew Challenge. Steve Ologist, Las Vegas local, ended up taking home the crown for the Pit Crew Challenge. Steve Hengeveld coming out of the bike community into a Class 1 car, or Class 1500 cars they're known in off-road. He took home the crown for the buggies in the Pit Crew Challenge. And then we had the General Tire, or not the General Tire Miss Mint, the Miss Mint competition as it's known now. And our own Ami Houde, she was a competitor there. Take us through the experience, Ami.
it was really cool. I mean, because of you, I entered, and I wanted to give it a shot to represent women in motorsports, But they flew us all out. We got a chance to meet a bunch of really cool girls. 3 of them actually raced themselves. One did the Works bike series, and another one actually races this particular series too. But, everyone was super cool, really, really nice girls. But our winner, Amy Scott, beautiful, talented model, really genuine, down-to-earth girl. So congratulations to Amy Scott. And you guys make sure you stop in. If you see her, take a picture with her. She is our new Miss Mint 2015.
Well, and I got to say, I thought it was kind of cool because obviously you come from a bike background. You were in there. We had Jessica, I believe her name is, Races Works. I mean, we had a girl that races 1600. Jacqueline.
Yeah, Jacqueline's cool.
Sorry.
And Jacqueline is a Las Vegas native. She's from here. So the crowd went pretty crazy when she was up on stage. So it's really cool.
She's also a war veteran. I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, this girl is pretty dialed, man.
Yeah, no, she's awesome. So, Jacqueline, if you're around here, you should come over here to the Polaris booth and stop in. And we'd love to talk to you.
Yeah, for sure. And this is Jim Beaver and Ami Houde. We're hanging out down here on Fremont Street. And we'll be here for the next 2.5 hours. Those of you tuning in at home, be sure and tweet us at JimBeaver15, at Ami Houde71, right?
Yep.
Let us know if you got any questions, and we'll get you get them dialed in on air. We got a bunch of amazing racers coming in, and it looks like our first guest is Mr. Ryan Arciero. He's going to step up to the plate, and we'll get him on here for an interview. We'll let him get mic'd up. And Ryan, man, talk about a guy that's been around, done it all, and freshly married. So I gotta give him credit, man. Been last weekend down in Cabo getting married, and this weekend in Vegas racing. I gotta say that's two pretty big weekends in a row.
It doesn't get any better than that. Oh. Got it now? There we go. Yeah. Jim, technical error.
Yeah,
There we go. We got it. No, it doesn't get any better than that, I tell you. You go from Cabo San Lucas and marrying the woman of my dreams, and I got a great woman, Michelle, and then we go from a beautiful setting like Cabo San Lucas, get on an airplane, come home, get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, go straight to the desert, do some testing, come down, go down Fremont Street in the trophy truck. I mean, that in itself was really cool. And we had Herbst are now doing a thing with White Castle on the Strip. So Troy Herbst put a call in to get a to-go order of White Castle while we're doing the parade.
That's awesome.
Coming down.
You should have had your truck all done up like the Just Married, with the
I know
streamers.
That's a great
everything.
idea.
That would have been awesome.
Why didn't I think about that?
Yeah, that would have been pretty cool, man. Well, this has got to be, obviously you're from Southern California, but the Herbst, I mean, Las Vegas, this is, the family is just synonymous with Las Vegas. You think of Vegas, you think of the Herbst. They've got basically gas stations on every corner. I mean, the family is pillars of the community here, and not only you racing with them, but I mean this has got to be a big event for them in their backyard and being able to drive down the Strip and be involved in the activities down here in Fremont.
It is. I mean, they're such a great family. They're a family that myself and my dad and my uncle have competed against for many years. And when I got the call about 4 years ago to team up with Troy, I mean, I absolutely jumped on it. They're a team that just has this legacy behind them, and like you mentioned in Vegas, I mean, they're a pillar of the community in Vegas. The stuff they've done for the community here, you see them on every street corner just about with their terrible Herbst gas stations, and you can go in there and get yourself a nice cold Monster, and so get a little plug for Monster. But they're such a great group of people. The team's fantastic. The team's actually based in Huntington Beach, but this race being in their backyard is very important for Tim and Troy. Very important.
Yeah. Well, and let's talk about, you in this race. I mean, you've been involved in some Baja 1000 winning teams. I mean, you yourself have raced Dakar. I mean, you've seen it all, done it all, and won a lot of them. What does it take to win this race particularly? I mean, this one's brutal.
It is. The Nevada desert is relentless, and it has everything you can ever throw at a race vehicle. And nowadays in trophy truck, and Jim, you know this, is the pace that it takes to win nowadays. I mean, you have to be going flat out of the gate, because if you don't, one of those fast teams is going to clean it. And you have some of the most brutal terrain that we see, anywhere, Baja included. And it's a 400-mile race, so it's not one of our longer races, but it's still long. But I mean, you have 8-foot, 9-foot ditches. You got big boulders, rocks. You're going to have the dust. I'm praying for a little bit of wind come tomorrow, but we have a little bit right now. But our luck is tomorrow it's going to be dead still. It never fails for us during racing. But I'm excited. I mean, this race has so much history behind it. I've grown up with this race, watching my dad and my uncle compete in it, and being on Fremont Street, and taking over Fremont Street. It's a special venue, and it brings us back to our roots and how this sport got started and how big it was back in the day, and how big and a different direction we're trying to take it now to regrow it again.
Yeah, and I agree, as a kid growing up and watching my dad, drive the Class 8 down Fremont, and through Contingency and stuff like that, it's pretty cool to see everything kind of come full circle. And I know him, I mean, he's been to races, much like your family for the past, 30, 40 years. So it takes a lot for him to get excited.
Yeah.
But something about the Mint 400 every year, he loves coming to this event. Just, you get to see a lot of the older racers that come back, and they may not be racing, but they're just here to take it all in. And, legends like Bob Bauer on the media side, and he's here.
Bob is fantastic. I've known Bob since I was a little kid, and that guy is something special.
But I think that's what's cool is you get to see everything come full circle almost. And, down here we've got the retro cars and the Nora cars, and it really brings things, back around.
It does, and I've been fortunate enough in my career to, like you said, to race in a lot of different venues, and I've won the Baja 1000 multiple times, and I'll take that over a championship any day of the week. But there is another one on my list that I want to check off, and that's the Mint 400. I don't have that on my list yet, and believe it, I mean, I want that on my list, and we're going to work real hard come tomorrow to put that on my list.
Yeah, I mean, and I've asked this to a lot of guys. I mean, take the Baja 1000. I mean, from a standpoint of a driver, I mean, that's a huge win. But the Mint 400, I mean, for the marketing value, it seems like almost the marketing value you get with the Mint 400. I mean, is it more than the Baja 1000 now? Is this thing grown to be, from a marketing standpoint as a driver, just as important?
The Martelli brothers have just taken this thing to another level, and with the help of Casey Folks and putting on an incredible event. I really think it has. They stepped up their game, and for us to get eyes on what we do, we need to find fans that don't know about that. I say that aren't that we need fans that don't know they're fans yet.
Yeah.
And in order to get to them, we need to be able to showcase and show them we have such a gold mine, and such a cool treasure with off-road racing. It's so three-dimensional. It's not like IndyCar, NASCAR, Formula One, which are cool in their own right, but you got trucks with 850 horsepower, 4 feet of wheel travel. And when you get up next to these things, you're underneath the thing looking at it, and it has just three-dimensional outlook to it. But it's very hard to watch. Yeah. And there's no question about that. So they've been able to capture what we're doing in the desert and bring it to the masses and bring it to those fans that don't know they're fans yet. And that's how we're going to grow the sport, is introducing them and showing them. In order to do that, you got to be able to have good content to be able to put online on social media side of things. Martelli Brothers kill it doing that. And, you need to have a good television package to be able to showcase it to the world.
Yeah, and I think, you don't want to say it because you can't, but I will. But, I mean, Red Bull Signature Series, that's it's a pretty big deal. I mean, that's a big deal to be on network television. We're not talking, one of these backwoods channels. I mean, that's, Channel 10, Channel 12 in most places. I mean, I don't know how many millions of homes, but, I mean, that's a big deal to be able to put off-road racing on a channel like that.
It is, my hat's off to Red Bull. Monster puts so much in the sport as well, and we need both of them. We can't just can't single out just one of them, even though obviously Monster is near and dear to my heart and our team. You can't single one of them out because you want that competition. Just like the tire companies. I've been BF Goodrich my whole entire life, and we need those other tire companies fighting against us. It creates camaraderie. It creates competition, and it's good for those tire manufacturers to have that competition because it helps promote what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I fully agree. So, I know you obviously, you're racing with Herps this year. Let's talk a little bit real quick. You're starting up your own racing series. I mean, you're wearing all kinds of hats. You got RCR Sports where you guys keep everyone safe. I mean, you're racing with the Herps. You're starting up your own series. I mean, talk a little bit about that.
I think I'm nuts sometimes too.
Does your new wife know what she's getting into?
What I told her? I said, honey, poor thing. I said, the boat was moving before you climbed aboard, so just bear with me. Sometimes we'll put it in reverse. But yeah, I was very fortunate. Off-road racing's been my life since I was born, really. But I also had another side that with my grandfather in sports car racing and IndyCar racing, and so I tried my hand at open wheel racing, and I had a lot of success. But the biggest thing I faced was a sponsorship. Trying to find the money to go racing, and it's a shame in the open wheel series, actually in any series right now, where the costs are going. That they're getting outrageous. So in the latter series in open wheel racing right now, they're antiquated cars, old cars that are a lot of money to buy, a lot of money to run. So I saw a need when I was trying to do it back in the early 90s, is there the need for a high-tech current car that has the latest technology on it, the latest safety aspects, that's at a price point that's affordable, one to buy it and one to operate it. And we've been working on this since 2008 with my partner Dennis McCormick, and we formed Formula Lights. And Formula Lights is a ladder series. It's a current car. It's a completely carbon chassis, carbon car. Paddle shift, which no other series has besides an Indy Lights car, which is close to $500,000 to get that thing onto a racetrack. And so you have Honda, which has been a great partner of ours. It's a stock Honda engine. Pirelli came on as a series sponsor for the tire side of things, and it's just it's going to be our first year. We got a lot of hurdles to overcome, but it's super exciting. We're getting a lot of people interested in what we're doing because they can't help themselves. Like, this car is so cool. It's like a little Formula One car. They're like, how could we not at that price point not look at what you're doing and not look at the operating costs and what it takes to do it? We're going to save ourselves money, and we're going to be in a car that's current technology. So it's a lot of work, but I have a lot of passion behind it, and I want to see this grow into the next feeder series into IndyCar.
Yeah. That's really cool.
So we're gonna see you hop in one at any point. I know you got to get.
I get a lot of questions about that. Yeah, and believe me, I would love to, and at some point I will. But right now, I want to focus on the teams. And I want to focus on growing the series. But of course, I'm a racer.
Yep.
So heck yeah, I want to jump on that thing. It's a carbon fiber paddle shift car. That thing's badass.
You're gonna have all your buddies saying, "Hey Ryan,
Yeah. Let me test. Just let me do one test.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna be holding birthday parties.
Exactly. So I got a question for you guys.
All right.
So how obviously you guys have been doing a great job with the show, and what's the response that you guys get? Obviously being a part of this, and how cool is it to be? We just talked about how cool it is this event in general, but we need guys like you and media like you help pushing what we got going on.
Yeah. Well, I know me, from my standpoint, I'm, lucky enough where I get to, wear the media hat and I get to drive. And I know you're the same way. You've hosted some TV before with off-road. And so we get to really kind of bring things full circle, I get to see both sides. I get the fan feedback on the media side, and then I get the fan feedback on the driver's side. And especially with this event, I mean, I can tell you the tweets and stuff I'm getting from people all over the country. Some people in England, interested in what's going on there in Vegas. They want to know, and I think this race is becoming, super huge, and I think Amy can attest to that. I mean, she's Canadian, but she's from the two-wheel community, and she's seeing those people come over and have interest into the Mint 400.
Yeah, no, the Mint is one of the two-wheel side's favorite event. It's in Las Vegas. I mean, you come here for the Supercross, and you get all the fans and the family coming just because it's in Las Vegas. You got nice weather, good atmosphere, but I mean, this is a family event, and you can bring the whole kids and the family, but I mean, you don't necessarily have to know a lot about this to have a great time here, which is really important. Like, look at this. We're downtown. You're walking up, touching the cars. Like, this is a really interactive event, and people can just get really excited. Like, I'm excited.
Yeah,
I want to go and check it all out.
We're on Fremont Street, and it's closed down. How cool is that?
I know.
I just think it's – and then going down Las Vegas Boulevard on Wednesday – I thought was just so special because as soon as you get into the heart of the strip, I mean, every overpass was packed full of people. Yeah. And then you get down to the bottom, and you're 3 and 4 people deep on the sidewalk. And I'm like, I mean, it kind of blows you away because all those people have no idea what these trucks are, what these cars are, and it's raising questions. So you hope that they start looking into it. Like, what is the Mint 400? What is going on here? This is cool. You so badly want to do donuts or something for a jump them so they can see what these things can do. So, but it's just bitching.
Well, on my way down here, I was checking Instagram, and I saw all these random people who, just some motocrosser friends from Vegas, posting that the parade that was coming down. Be like, oh my God, look at this! Like, look at this sweet monster truck, and
absolutely,
it was awesome.
That's cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure. And I think that's the thing. You get all these people who maybe have heard of off-road, maybe Baja, maybe Ivan Stewart at some point, played his video game way back in the day. But, they're sitting there with their cameras, and they're taking pictures and immediately uploading them to social media. Look what I just saw. Look what I just saw. And, I think that's, you start getting people latch on that way and, like you said, create fans, right?
For sure. And I like, too, the fact what Casey and the Martelli brothers have done with the spectator areas out for the race, because it's one thing to get them excited here. It's another thing is get them out there.
Yes.
To be able to see this stuff firsthand, and we need them talking about what it is we're doing, because that just flows, and then we start growing. So, and we need that for sponsors. Obviously, for a lot of the teams, they live off sponsorship, and we get those eyes on what we're doing. We're going to be able to bring in more and more sponsors. Polaris is involved now. They build an incredible product. I'll raise my hand and say I have an XP1000. I bought it last year. I freaking love the thing. Besides being in my trophy truck, it's the most fun I've ever had in the dirt. It's insane. So, and I never thought that possible. Yeah. So,
and for $20,000, right?
$20,000.
Yeah, we're used to six figures.
And I financed it. I'm like, I'm $200 a month. I'm like, I'll pay that $200. That's easy. Jeez, I put $20 of gas in the thing, and I go all day long. I think it's so cool. If something wrong with it, take it back to the dealer. Can you fix it? Yeah. Or can you change the oil?
Yeah.
So no, it's open. I think it's opened up a whole new world. It's funny because all my trophy truck guys that I hang out with friends with, I think the majority of them have them now. And obviously, there's no comparison to how it is to a trophy truck, but for what it is, badass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree. So, I know what's up for you later today, and then heading into tomorrow. You got any more appearances? You guys just hanging out here on Fremont Street, Ryan?
We're going to do some more interviews today, which is great. I love dealing with the fans, love dealing with the media. We have my RZR Sports trailer that's just down from where we're at now at the Polaris RZR booth, and has big Oakley RZR Sports inside. So we got Oakley sunglasses, we got safety apparel, we got hats, T-shirts, you name it. And then I'm going to kind of relax a little bit later today. I'm going to work the booth all day and then relax a little bit tonight, hydrate, and get ready for tomorrow. It's going to be a hot day tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to the start. I really am. Unfortunately, we didn't qualify all that well, but these trucks are very difficult to qualify. They're big trucks, and they're big and heavy. Our trucks are, and so they don't qualify all that well, but they race really well. So I'm excited to take the green flag and start getting that 91 to the front, and I know we can get it there.
What's the difference between, as you say, we have a hard time qualifying.
Yeah.
What does that mean? What's the difference between qualifying and racing? I don't hear that terminology in motocross. It's all about qualifying.
Yeah.
So
it's a great question, and it is important to qualify well. Mm-hmm. For us, we have probably one of the heaviest trucks that is out there. It's built really stout, but they're really reliable. Okay. And So for qualifying, you're on more of a shorter course. Yesterday's qualifying, we were in a short course section to begin with, and then everything on the outfield was real tight and technical, sandy, and the trucks don't come off the corner really well. Okay. So as soon as you get back to the gas and you want to get off the corner to the next corner, they're a little sluggish when it comes to that compared to most other vehicles. Okay. But once you get out into the open desert and you're able to let the legs kind of stretch on those things, they work really well through the rough. Baja, they work really well as well, but they work really good through the rough, and they're very stout and they're very reliable trucks. So I said we've never had the problem of if we qualify not too good, we're always able to get the trucks to the front. Yeah. So we always are. And tomorrow's, knock on wood, is hopefully no different. We have one of the best teams around us. We just got to work a little bit more on our qualifying setup and see what we can do to help kind of band-aid kind of the heaviness of the truck. Yeah. And the guys know their stuff really well, and we've been playing with stuff for 4 years. We've been trying to make things better, and we're finally onto some stuff. So we're going to try some stuff after this race, see if we can get our qualifying game on, and then go compete and see if we can't beat up on these guys.
That's awesome.
All right. Awesome. Well, good luck tomorrow, and
thank you guys.
We'll definitely see you out there. Hopefully,
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on too.
Yeah, no.
And we got to do more. We're going to talk Formula Lights more. I know that you and I talked about that. So
we're going to get Ryan on at some point in the next month, and we're definitely going to be dialed in on Formula Lights. We'll talk about that in the series and stuff like that. But Ryan RZR, good luck tomorrow, my friend.
Thank you guys.
Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you guys for pumping the sport up, and thank you for all you do. I really appreciate it. So thank you so much.
Right,
thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, looks like we got next Jerry Zayden hanging out in the queue. I'll get Jerry to sit down. We got Jim Riley, his teammate. Jim can pop over here too if he wants. Same time, we can double stack him in here. But that was Ryan RZR. Talk about just a class act, a
so
great
much
guy.
Going on, man.
Yeah, he's got so much going on. We'll get to let Jerry get his headset dialed in here. But what's happening, Jerry?
What's happening, guys?
Not too much, man.
It's
going, man. Fremont Street, mid 400. I mean, it doesn't get much better than this if you're an off-road fan.
Oh, absolutely. It is packed down here today. Such an awesome setup. We actually put our Camberg Racing Kinetic Trucks booth down here. It's on the opposite end of the Polaris setup on the far side of the Contingency, and it has been packed there. We got Mark Burnett and his FreestyleMX.com doing a Monster Energy freestyle show right next to KMC Wheels booth. And, man, it is packed down here.
I had the opportunity to actually meet some of your teammates yesterday, and I just have to say you have one of the coolest bunch of guys. Everyone's super nice and really friendly, but no, I love your team.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, we bring out a really cool group of dudes. We got it from A to Z. Bring all these guys out
A to Z, literally, right?
Yeah. And, no, it's a cool group of dudes. Everyone's real chill and real helpful. They're helping strangers unload race vehicles or whatever it is,
Awesome.
Well, and you kind of double dip on this one as well. I mean, you race obviously, but you've also got the business. I mean, from a business standpoint, I mean, what's it mean to be at the Mint 400? I mean, is this one of the places from a business standpoint you've got to dial in every year on the calendar?
Oh, absolutely. We've been racing this race now since 2008. And, haven't missed it. It's an awesome event. And from the business standpoint, we're always here with our sponsors, whether it's KMC Wheels or General Tire or KC Highlights or Rugged Radios. They keep us so busy bouncing around signing posters or cards or, just giving to the fans out here. And this year we really had to set up a booth. So, we got our toter down there with the Action Sports canopies, made us some killer, the tents.
Yeah.
And got the flags and everything. So, already, I mean, we're made 100 of these limited edition Camberg Mint 400 shirts, and those are slinging out the tents, and we got a bunch of hats and stickers and kids grabbing here. I mean, it's just awesome. So from the brand identity standpoint, we got our kinetic race trucks down there. We got GHA Racing's new truck and our truck, so now, our fans could come up and get in it and under it and check everything out, and it's great for business.
Yeah. Well, and I think this is one of the cool events from a driver standpoint because, you and I both know as an off-road driver, I mean, it's not, you don't become an off-road driver to be a celebrity, right? You just don't. But this one event, it seems like with all the fans and stuff like that, this is the one event where, off-road drivers, you get treated like a celebrity almost. I mean, fans coming up and, always signing autographs and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Absolutely. There's so many people out here in the Las Vegas area, such a good group of people, and same thing. I've seen, people who own the huge or presidents of these companies, the huge resort casino people down here. I mean, worth hundreds of millions of dollars next to the homeless guys walking around bumming a monster off of us. It's awesome.
So, talking about you guys, I mean, this race, it's going to be a tough one. You guys got one of the most stacked fields in 6,100. It's definitely going to be a grueling race tomorrow. I mean, what's the plans for this one? I mean, it's going to be what's it going to take for you guys to walk away with a win?
We've had second place at this race now 2 years in a row, and that win is right in our crosshairs. Like 1 year the truck just got stuck, and that little bit of time is what cost us the win. And, last year we lost a rear brake line and drove 2 laps without rear brakes, and it's the kind of thing where it's just those little things are what bites you, And so we feel the truck's great. We had a really good run at Parker. Even Jason put the truck on its side, and we sat there for 15 minutes. But still went from dead last and got all the way back up to the front. And, this race, it's like to win the Mint 400s, it's a really big feat. There's 330 vehicles out here racing. There's 100 unlimited vehicles that we have to start behind. And all day long we're going to be, weeding these guys off one by one. And last year I think we finished 11th overall. And Jason Ruane, he got first place, finished 9th overall. And in our class of 6,100, I mean, basically they're trick truck or trophy truck. And they have stock LS3 engines in them. And we're putting 430 horsepower compared to the big guys with 800. So we have to keep our momentum up all day. It's kind of a good way to do it for the other fans out there to understand. It's kind of like riding a 250 dirt bike over a 450. They both go really fast, but one's just got a lot more power. It helps out a lot, So, we got the Serapis brothers in their truck, and we got Alex Gonzalez in his new Kinetic truck. We got Jim Riley out there. We got some really good fast racers in our class. Even some nice new trucks showing up. So competition's insane.
Yeah. It's stacked.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and that class, I know Jim obviously was one of the first guys in. You guys jumped in with both feet not too long after Jim. I mean, it's got to be pretty exciting for you guys to see this class grow like it has and become one of the marquee classes.
Absolutely. In 2007 was our first year in Best in the Desert, and they had just opened up the 7,200 rules. And I approached Casey. I'm like, why are we still stuck on these V6 engines that are really expensive to build and they're really not relevant anymore? Why don't we do like some kind of spec V8? They didn't want to do that. And, the 7,200 class grew. It did well. And with Trophy Light, Jim Riley had the first one. And, they're onto that same idea of a spec vehicle with the spec power. And, not a lot of people, really caught on to wanting, from one manufacturer, but people wanted the same philosophy for themselves, right? Yeah. So, we approached Casey, and after Jim was racing, Jim okayed it, let's open up this class and get it to grow. And since his truck was the first truck, they kind of established the perfect rule base, in my opinion. And, him and I were big advocates for the class, and I think we've had 24 at one race. Last year, 28 different trucks to show up. And out of all that, I know we have 3 new trucks that are already built. They're just not racing here yet. One of them is with Alex Gonzalez, but every builder from Geyser Brothers, Jimco, Racer, Mason Motorsports, they're all building really nice trucks. And there's going to be 30, 40 trucks in this class, I would say, by next year.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, and, talking about your program a little bit, I know, obviously, you bring a lot of marketing value to your sponsors and stuff like that. You've been one of the teams in the desert that have been successful in bringing in sponsors. A lot of people wonder how you do it, but, I got to say, I got to give you guys credit. You just reached, 1 million followers on Facebook?
Yeah.
I saw that the other day, and I'm like, I got to give Jerry some props for that. That's not an easy feat.
Yeah, no, it's our following's pretty big. We get to post up a lot of neat stuff because it's not just pictures of racing or testing, but, we also have a CNC machine shop and a welding fabrication facility, retail outlet, so we do a lot of cool stuff. And we also reach, because of the, four-wheel drive, Toyota market, so Tacomas and Tundras and Chevys, we meet all the fans. So we're actually almost 1.3 million right now. It's like in about 8,000 people away from that.
That's
and
awesome.
It's really neat. What's cool is if I share someone's video or share someone's product, you can see how many people it's reaching, and it's reaching hundreds of thousands of people, per post. It's awesome.
Yeah. Awesome. So, tomorrow, what's the game plan, man? What's it going to take for you guys to get the monkey off your back, go from second to first? I mean, what kind of day do you have to have tomorrow?
We really just have to have a perfect day. It's what it's going to come down to. And, last year we just about had that perfect day, and losing the rear brake line starting the third lap, we had 2 laps without rear brakes. No flat tires, no issues, no problems other than that brake line. So if you can't slow down, you got to start so much sooner. That's what gave up the time, And as long as we have that perfect day tomorrow, that's what's going to be hard to beat.
Yeah. How is this race moving from 4 laps to 3? You think that's going to help you guys, hurt you guys? You like the new format?
I actually like it better. I like a longer distance lap. It saves the course. The course doesn't get as chewed up. It's also better from a pit strategy point of view. When the laps are 100 miles, we don't have to fuel up. So if we go out with a full truck, I'd rather come into the pit depleted with more fuel and not still have so much fuel in the truck. Also tires, depending on how rocky it is out there. It's kind of like in NASCAR. You'll see the guys, they all run great tires, and they come into a pit, and they change tires because of the wear that happens. So when those rocks are just wearing on everything, we should be able to go the whole race without doing that. But seeing after the first lap and the second lap, then you'll know what you'll have to do. But with the 3 laps, it's from a pit strategy standpoint, a driver perspective, I think it works out real well.
What would you say is the most technical obstacle out in that desert there?
If we're going through Beer Bottle Pass, I honestly haven't looked at the course yet. We've raced out there so many times that we know where we are when we're out there. We don't really get to pre-run out there. But Beer Bottle Pass is a very slow, technical, rocky, windy uphill. So imagine the windiest, cliffiest road you know of. And if you go off the side, it's just boulders and rocks. And the whole left side of you when you're going up this thing, it's just all sharp edge rocks like that's been, dozed through to create this little power line road.
Wow.
So that spot's real technical. And then there's a couple rock garden sections out there that are extremely technical. And I guess for them, they're kind of switching it up on this year, and we're hitting the old Lucas Oil short course racetrack out at Prem. So we're going to see our trucks that are absolutely not designed to do that kind of driving, body rolling. We have all the suspension travel. We're going to be out there on that short course.
Yeah,
so.
We had to qualify in that yesterday, and I got to tell you, it was interesting. Guys spinning out and guys hitting walls and rolling, and it was pretty crazy. I mean, guys you wouldn't expect to see roll and spin out, they were doing it. So
yeah, no, I'm sure it'll be very interesting to see. And then they have the dike jump out there that they run at some of the other smaller races out here. And that's like the one, that's the spectacle right there, It's like these trucks are launching, they're going like 150, 200 feet in distance. So, get out there and go watch that because, 100-plus mile-an-hour vehicle launching off this thing, you're probably 20 feet in the air going well over 100 feet. So it's really fun to watch.
That's awesome.
For sure. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to stop by. I know you're pretty busy today bouncing around and stuff. And I know, I saw were you down there with the Speed Freaks earlier maybe?
Not yet.
No, not yet?
I did the radio show with them the other night.
Oh, okay,
and,
gotcha.
I'll go stop by and say hi to them and the whole crew over at General Tire. And, thanks for having me on your show.
All right, well, we
Awesome.
appreciate it, Jerry, and good luck out there tomorrow, my
All
friend.
right.
All right,
Thank you, guys.
take it easy, buddy.
Yeah.
All right, that was Jerry Zayden, my General Tire KMC Wheels teammate, guy from Camberg.
It must be hard, 2 seconds. I mean, geez.
Yeah.
A lot of pressure to get that first place now.
Yeah, exactly. He's their team, one of the best in the business.
Yeah.
Obviously, just getting the monkey off his back.
Yeah,
two second place in a row. It's always tough being the bridesmaid and never the bride,
Yeah.
right?
It is, definitely.
So looks like we got Jim Riley, our buddy from Azunia. He's stepping up here and get Jim dialed in on the mic. How's everything going,
How's it
Jim?
going?
I kept waiting for a commercial break or something.
No, we're rolling, dude. We're going an hour, first hour commercial free. So, we're just rocking and rolling, having a good time here on Fremont. I mean, nothing better. Weather's beautiful. Taking in off-road racing. I mean, it's great, right?
Yep, everybody's having a good time. They've got their margaritas flowing. Looks like you got some Red Bulls over here.
Yeah. Amy found her cell phone.
Yeah, I found my cell phone.
Life is good.
Life is good.
We're all good.
Yeah.
It's all good when you're with the hood.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, it was. Got to tell you, it was pretty interesting last night when you realized that KMC had locked it in there. We're calling Rhett and Chris and everybody from there, and they're ignoring calls, and it was quite interesting.
I mean, it's crazy how much your phone is. You rely on it for my wake-up call in the morning to trying to find Jim today.
Yep.
He happens to put it in his pocket, so I mean,
and
how
your
am I
schedule.
supposed to find you?
Yeah, exactly.
Where am I supposed to be right now?
Yes, I don't know.
So how about you? I mean, I know where you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be right here, and you got to be loving life. I mean, you got your wife, your beautiful daughter, and everything. Life is good, huh?
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun today. You come out here with the sponsors. They got you in their booths and talking about their product, and you see all the people out here. This race has really come along. Yeah, it's just unbelievable how many people are out here, supporting the sport.
What's the biggest transformation you've seen from how this event was run to how it is now?
But I don't want to say it was mom and pop before, but, it was just kind of a laid back, a few people came out. And it's got a lot of history,
Yeah.
And I wasn't around in the 70s to see the real stuff. But in the last few years, it's like exploded.
With fans?
With fans,
Yeah.
with sponsors and support and everything that's going on over here. You know, just love what's happening, you know.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's good
It's
for everybody.
To see. I mean, it's only going to get bigger.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and I know, talk about, Azuñia from a marketing standpoint. I mean, you and I have talked. You guys are always doing marketing and looking at outside of the box opportunities. And you've been really, lucky to be involved with the Lakers and the San Diego Padres. But, desert racing, I mean, that's your bread and butter. I mean, you guys are really invested here. And how has that been to help grow the brand?
Well, more than bread and butter, it's just our core base of fans and supporters. And, we've talked about this a bunch. People in off-road racing support each other. And, they get involved with the people that are out here. That guy just walked by with a bottle of Azuñia shaking my hand, right?
I saw that.
How much better than
That's
getting that?
Gosh.
Don't drink it out here.
Yeah.
Don't drink and drive.
So, no, Jim, it's been great, and we want to continue to be loyal out here. I met some of the guys out at the pits yesterday that marked our pits out.
Yeah.
We're sharing again.
Yeah.
And, he says, hey, if there's anything you can do for us, we all volunteer. I'm like, I'll do anything I can for you guys, The volunteers is what makes it happen.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
huge.
Absolutely. It's, all of our crews, I mean, you and I both know, I mean, we've got a few people we can pay here and there to do certain things, but, by and large, it's all volunteers out there in the pits and that help wrench on these cars most of the time. And, without them, we couldn't do what we do.
Really, volunteers who wrench on the cars?
Yeah, we have
Wow.
17 guys on our team, and we couldn't do without any of them.
Wow.
And, it's just amazing to me. We're out there last night till almost midnight wrenching on the car. You always find something to do, right? There's something to be worked on. And they're just loving it. The camaraderie, drinking a beer or whatever, telling stories, laughing about the last race and everything. And they love that. They love being a part of that.
That really speaks volumes on how this sport is a passion, not a job. This is what people do for fun, and they just love it. So.
Yeah, and it costs some money too, Jim. They got to take time off from work and travel and everything. We try to pick up what we can, but it still costs them money to be here. And they bring their families out and stuff, so it's a little vacation for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely out of love, and it really is a big family atmosphere. I mean, it's like you and I. Parker, you need to help. You piggybacked with us. I called you and said, "Hey, I'm in a bind, buddy. I need a pit spot." And you're like, "Come on in." It was. So
cool.
it's
it's
really cool.
You don't see that in the pro level of motocross.
No.
I mean, in the amateur pits, but that's what's so unique about this type of racing, and now why I'm starting to fall in love with it, really.
Yeah, you're going to want a car soon, and you're going to have an addiction.
Yeah, I do.
You're going to be a mess.
I just don't have the bank account yet.
Yeah. None of us do.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
we're talking about figuring out a way to get her in a Terracross Razor, so I think she's going to be racing a Razor this year in Terracross. So let's step in there.
Yeah, that'd be
baby
awesome.
Steps.
No, be careful. It's addictive and expensive.
Yeah.
If you think motocross is bad.
I know.
So, let's talk about the Mint 400 race. I mean, you guys, obviously, we just talked with Jerry about, this is 6100. You were literally the first truck in 6100. You've seen that class grow from one entry being you to where it is now and being one of the marquee classes.
Yeah, it's exciting, watching new trucks show up, especially you see them coming down the road here. And, people are really interested in what we're doing out there. Those trucks are fast. We had a 126-mile-an-hour day yesterday in our truck, and, people don't realize what type of vehicle it is. And now that we've got more out there, they're really starting to stand out. We've finished – one of our cars have finished in the top 10 almost at every race in the last year.
That's awesome.
So, it says a lot for what's happening.
Yeah, it says a tremendous amount. I mean, you guys are ones, you're always finishing races. You're always there. When you don't finish, it's a big deal. You take that, to heart,
Yeah, we talked about Parker just now sharing pits. It's the first time I finished Parker in 9 years of racing. It's a tough course, and it'll beat you up, and we were real happy to even finish that race.
Yeah, well, it's definitely a tough one, man. I got to tell you, it was.
You had a day.
Yeah, I had a day, but you guys being able to share pits and see what you guys were going through. I mean, it was tip of the cap to get to the finish line.
Yeah, it's anytime you get to a finished off-road race, it's worth celebrating, and our guys were happy to do it. And after all those years of trying, it felt good. So, but tomorrow's going to be a big day for all of us.
Yeah, for sure. I'm kind of excited we get the afternoon race, so we don't have to get up quite so early and run at 5 in the morning, right?
Yeah. Right. Get to sleep. I don't know, waiting stuff. In MX, waiting all day to get to your heat.
I know, definitely in amateur stuff. I mean, you have 3 days of racing, and you could have one race a day, and then you're waiting around, for 2 days even to have your second moto. So
yeah, nerves are going crazy.
Yeah, definitely. And then the track gets beat up, and I mean, I'd rather run all day and be the first one. So
yeah. So you guys have interviewed a lot of people. What are you hearing about the track? Any insight for us? I mean, we need an advantage here, bud.
I don't know. Talking with Jerry, he's talking about Beer Bottle Pass. And I think the biggest thing about this track is, even in Parker, in the washes and stuff like that, you make a mistake, there's a little bit of run-out room, right?
Yeah.
Here, there's no run-out room. You make a mistake, you're in the boulders and your car's messed up.
Yeah.
There's zero room for mistakes. I mean, you have to be on point all day long here. Other tracks, Vegas to Reno, wide open Nevada desert, you run, you make a mistake, you blow a corner, generally, might be a rock or two, but you're okay. Here, you're on your lid, A-arms ripped off, it's a mess.
Yep, we see it every time, especially in those new areas that they created, like, the pits where all the spectators are. It's going to be slick and wet, and, people be sliding around. I pass 3 guys every time I go through there. Just be patient and have some fun with it, but, it can take you down.
Yeah, it definitely can take you down, and, I think that's a big deal. We've got 50-some in Trick Truck. You guys, you're over 20 entries?
We're over 20 entries this year.
And at the end of the first lap, you and I both know, I'll see 20 Trick Trucks parked. You guys are going to see 5 to 10 6100s that don't make it through lap 1.
Yep, exactly how it's going to go down. So it's going to be consistent and be patient with the course.
I think the biggest thing for me on this race is, and I'm sure you can say the same, is you don't want to get a flat early because then you drop back, and I guess we're lucky, with General Tires, we don't get a lot of flats. But
I was going to say, I don't even know what a flat looks like anymore. Right?
Yeah, exactly. But, I think that's a big thing. You don't want to get a flat early, make a mistake, and, if you do get one, you want to get it changed as quick as you can because you immediately get behind a lot of traffic early, and then it makes it, horrible.
Yeah, and it's one of those courses where you got to be smart. Like you said, there's a lot of rocks out there, a lot of sharp edges, and you're beating fenders with people too. So you do got to be careful and pick your path.
Yeah, for sure. So what's up next for you guys? Obviously, tequila business and and on the racing side of things. I know I've been keeping tabs on you. You're in Texas, then you're you're at a festival in California. You're bouncing all over, buddy.
Hey, just trying to make a living. You had Ryan RCR on here a couple minutes ago. We went down to his wedding in Cabo this last weekend and had a great time. Got to relax, but you gotta make the wheels turn. So we're in Colorado selling tequila, and then over to Sacramento and trying to make it happen. I just ran into Mike Perlman with Nora, and we're prepping our '57 Chevy to go down there and defend our vintage title will be our 4th year vintage title. So we got to go down and do that race.
That's something we got to get Amy out to. You haven't seen anything until you've seen the vintage cars at Nora. That's an experience,
that'd
man.
Be so cool.
1,300 miles in a '57 Chevy over 4 days. There's nothing like it.
Do you think they're ever going to bring bikes back to the Mint 400?
I don't know, but if they don't, they got them down there at the Nora race.
Yeah. I know Martelli said, though, that's in the plans. I think it's bringing them in, and they got to race on a different day.
Yeah.
But I think he wants to bring it back to that. I think it's, there's so much red tape to go through to make something like it would sound easy. Oh, let's just add bikes, but it's not that easy, Yeah.
Hey, if Matt said he was going to do it, he'll get it done. He'll figure out a way. Look what this race is now and all the things that he's accomplished that they didn't think were possible 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm sure bikes will be back.
Yeah.
Tune it up.
Bring it.
Yeah.
Stay in shape.
That's great. It's crazy how quick you can see changes in this sport. So that's huge. You don't see that in too many other things. So
yeah, and with off-road, it takes a lot of believers in what we're telling them. A great example, Atomic Liquor at the end of the strip here. A couple years ago, we went to Lance, who owns the place, said, this is going to be a big race. And he believed. And now look where everybody's at. They're right in front of his bar. And he's going, you guys said, here it is, So
that's awesome.
Yeah, we got to believe in what we're telling them, right?
Yeah. Well, and I know you guys have been invested. You've had Mint 400 tequila, Mint 400 vodka, in the past. And I know Atomic's been a big supporter of that.
Yep, they have, and to the point about the supporters in this sport in general, all these restaurants carry our product, and we're happy to have them, and vice versa. So we try to get in there and spend some money and have some margaritas. La Comida's around the corner where I'm going to hit after this for a little lunch.
Do you ever do a shot before you head out on your race?
I don't think so.
Yeah, good answer.
I don't think so. No.
After the race, absolutely.
Oh, yeah,
right?
Cheers.
Well, I picked up this new sponsor. It's called GQ6. It's a hydration company, and they're like, hey, start hydrating the week before. No drinking, okay? So we're trying our best to be healthy.
Like I'm in charge of a tequila company,
really.
right?
It's so funny.
I know, right? Be healthy, Race.
Tequila and water?
They're just trying to help me out, that's all.
I got to ask Sam, tequila drinker? If she wasn't, she is now, right?
Oh, she is now. Makes babies.
Oh, jeez. All right, Jim. Well, I appreciate you stopping by, buddy. Good luck out there tomorrow. I guess we'll see you tomorrow because we're sharing pit space. But
that's right.
We're gonna have a good day, man. We're gonna get 2 winners, 2 podium finishes out of that pit, right?
That's what we need. We're right next to the big boys too. We got Robert Acer next to us, Robbie Gordon. I think the Geysers right there. So it'll be a lot of fun in the pit tomorrow.
You need to get racer a few shots of tequila, and maybe he'll pull the helmet off.
I can't get it through his face mask. Right on. Thanks for having me.
All right.
Yeah,
thanks a lot, Jim.
in.
Take it easy, buddy.
Bye.
See ya.
All right. That was Jim Riley with Azuñia Tequila.
What a cool guy.
Yeah, definitely a cool guy, good friend of mine, and just a great ambassador for the sport off-road,
Yeah,
man.
definitely.
He's just a good dude. I know you got a chance to meet him a couple days ago.
Yeah,
and
first person I met here, actually. So he introduced me to some other people, some teams, and it's good to have good dudes like that.
Jim, he's like my brother that we're not related.
Brother from another mother.
Exactly. He's one of those type guys, and him and I are we do a lot of projects together and stuff. And looks like we got Joe Duncan and Jeremy. I'm getting tongue-tied here. Joe and Jeremy from Terracross stopping in. We'll get you guys mic'd up with your headsets, and we're going to talk a little UTVs, some Polaris RZRs, and this little thing called Terracross that Amy and I are going to be racing in this year.
Little thing is going to be a big thing.
Yeah, I say little thing, but definitely not a little thing. The live crowds, the events. I know you. Is it public now? The schedule you just emailed me yesterday.
It's not officially public, but most people know about it, so it's ready to rock and roll. We got some great events coming up. As we know, Del Mar Fair, June 25th and 26th, back at the arena there at the fair, and that was an amazing race last year. And if guys could keep it on that concrete, they were doing good. And soon to be announced is our Midwest event, and that's looking great at a very large event. That'll be released soon. And then Charlotte Motor Speedway at the end of September. We got 2 dates that we're working on for that. We just want to make sure that all of our drivers, our big-name drivers, and everybody can make it to the event. So we're just waiting for one little thing to come through. But end of September, Terracross at Charlotte Motor Speedway. So looking good. Well,
and you guys have Winter Terracross coming up here in just a few weeks, right?
Yeah, we kick off our first ever Winter Terracross. Great location at Crested Butte Mountain Resort in Crested Butte, Colorado. And hard packed snow, RZR 1000s, big jumps, and some winter fun. It is going to be unbelievable.
Yeah, it's I don't know, just hearing you talk about it and seeing what's in store for the drivers, I think it's definitely going to be a cool one.
Pitch your frozen rush and throw 6 guys out there at a time in all the heats and qualifying. Little crossover, a lot of Terracross elements built in, and then 12 in the final, all on snow. Whew. It's going to be fun.
It'll be awesome. Right. You don't do anything different to the tires? No studs or anything?
We're working on that right now. We've done some testing with stock tires, and it works. But we have Woody's traction products and a couple others that we've been testing. We've got a couple things yet to figure out, but more than likely we'll run some kind of traction. Don't know exactly which product yet. But it's just going to be a good time. And this is all, this will be new. It's something we're going to try. We got some great operators out there with the groomers that have already got ideas of how to make the course and lay out the course for us and make it work for these amazing vehicles.
Yeah. Well, let's skip over here to Jeremy because I've interviewed Joe quite a few times, know Joe quite a bit, met you the other day, but Joe talks a whole lot about the series, but you're one of the guys behind the series that makes things tick as well. So why don't we give you a quick introduction and tell us a little bit about your involvement with Terracross and Joe.
Absolutely, I've been a racer by heart many years, and came from the auto racing side of the business, and Joe and I formed a relationship last year and decided to partner up in this Terracross opportunity. And the draw was there for me initially to be a racer in the series, and now an owner in the series with Joe. And it's just been a great experience and a lot of fun. And we've got a lot of great athletes and racers involved with us. And Terracross is booming. The UTV world is on fire right now, and we're just excited to be part of that.
Yeah, well, it's funny, just sitting here, for the past hour watching, all these racing UTVs go by, but, we've got UTVs pulling trucks through. We've got, Ronnie Renner, he's got his on display, his 4-seat car he takes to the dunes. The whole market is huge. I know when Terracross started way back when, it was kind of geared around ATVs, but it quickly moved to the UTVs, and, and that's kind of become the bread and butter.
Yeah, it only made sense. We were fortunate enough to be partnered up with Polaris even before the RZR 1000 came out, and they wouldn't even tell me what vehicle we were racing at our next opening round for the next season. They just said, Joe, we got a vehicle for you. And we had the 900s out there, and they were great. And how do you get much better than that? Well, of course, the 1000, and in the chassis and with all the great components, the Walker Evans shocks and that travel and everything. And when you get in that vehicle and you drive it for the first time, you feel so comfortable. It's like a natural feeling. It's like a natural drivable vehicle, and you don't feel out of control in it, which is so nice. So very, very fortunate that Polaris came along and at the right time, because we were just transforming from ATVs into UTVs, because ATVs, as cool as they are and as much background as we had with them, they weren't the wave of the future, and obviously side-by-sides were. And this was a perfect opportunity for both Polaris and Terracross to expose it. We're the first ones with a full-on only UTV racing series that is geared towards this type of racing, and we basically use a stock Polaris RZR XP 1000. We throw on some safety equipment, we throw on some bumpers, but for the most part, it's a stock machine. So not only can we keep the cost down, but also we're taking a vehicle off the showroom floor and showing the general public that you can go into your local Polaris dealer, pick up one of these machines, go beat the crap out of it, and have a great time, and not have to spend all the time in the shop fixing it or making it or rebuilding it. So that's the win-win relationship we have with Polaris. And then, of course, building to this point, having, both yourself, Jim, and Amy coming on board. And, Jeremy, like you said, Jeremy came on board last year. Him and his wife, Treya, raced with us. And that's kind of how it happens, is that once they come and be a part of it, and we do have a very different philosophy. We love the other race circuits out there and encourage people to get out there and go racing. With our series, we're more about the entertainment value. We're about the TV. We're about the spectators. We go to events that already exist, and we try and promote our sport so people get in with the other series, and we all grow together, because there's no end in sight for this UTV racing.
Yeah, and the really cool thing about Terracross is, for me, being on two wheels, this is a really easy transition for me to, make that first move into four wheels. It's arrive and drive. It's a good transition from, dirt to dirt. But it's something anybody can almost pick up and try, if they have a passion for four wheels. But you see a lot of these professional motocrossers, wanting to try Terracross. We got Jeremy McGrath this year, and I'm going to get Renner out there. He's
Renner's
coming.
in.
Yeah.
We were talking about Renner yesterday.
Renner's in.
Yeah, but that's the cool thing. I mean, it's it's exciting. Anybody can do it. It's a little bit harder for me to come out here and do a desert race for the first time, but Terracross allows this transition to happen. So it's important that you started this series.
And it's cost effective too. One of the biggest things, especially with the way we're set up and structured, you can come in and you can race together with somebody else. So there can be a person in the men's class, a person in the women's class. They can run the same vehicle. That doesn't have to be two separate cars, two separate builds. It's not $40,000 to $50,000 for a vehicle. You can buy everything at a really, really reasonable price, and you get everything as part of the package. And you can be in two classes. And then you throw the icing on the cake with a CBS Sports Spectacular TV show, every double header at each event. You really can't go wrong with it. We have a stacked women's class this year with 4, main women last year. It was great racing, and I can't even fathom how good this racing is going to be this year. Yourself, Sarah Price.
Sarah's coming back.
Sarah's coming.
Yeah, I was texting her, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I need to do it again." So
yeah, we just have a great lineup, and I think it's going to be a battle right down to the end. And again, it's so convenient, and so these machines are so easy to handle. Jeremy, your wife Treya, she had never raced before. And by the end of the season, she almost won the last race of the season at Charlotte. If her machine wouldn't have some problems, you guys would have won that last race. So, I mean, tell how easy it was to get involved with Terracross.
Absolutely. Putting her in the driver's seat and some coaching and having a co-pilot in each car in the women's class, it just creates some great racing. These women are fast. They're not far off or similar in pace to the pro men's class. And that's with 2 people in the car. So it's very entertaining. The crowd loves watching the communication between the driver and the co-driver out there. And these girls are just flying around the track, and they're doing everything the guys are. So it's not very often you get to see that in a lot of series. And to see the same vehicle do the same thing in both classes is just great for the crowd and the television coverage.
How come you did the co-driver for the women's class? Sarah and I were talking about that.
Yeah, a couple of reasons. To start with, we had a couple of women that really didn't race before, and they wanted and needed that. So to make it fair, because otherwise the women who had training, they wanted to race by themselves, the weight balance would have been off, and it really wouldn't have been a fair program. So, but then once we did it, it really created great TV value with the, last year Doug Gust yelling and screaming at Cindy and Jeremy and Treya. I mean, it just really Jason Luberg and Jamie Luberg Ward, who Jamie actually ended up winning. They tied like 3 different ways. They tied, and finally at the end, Jamie ended up winning the championship. But Jason in the co-passenger seat, and with the onboard cameras that we have, it just really made another element for the TV show. So it wasn't just another race; it was a race with elements inside of it.
Relationship elements
and co-driving, and hey, you got to hit that faster. Or like Jeremy was saying, he's like you're going too fast. If you keep going this fast, something might break. So it's like, and now that plays out well in TV. And same program with as these women keep trying to come on board. It's really nice to have that person alongside to be a part of that. And again, you can share the car that way. And thinking about it for the sponsors and the partners, it's double exposure.
Yeah.
It's a double whammy, and you got all this extra programming out on the course for us and 2 people.
Yeah.
It's a win-win deal.
It's cool.
Yeah, and when your wife rolls a UTV over and you're sitting next to her, it's for some good conversations on the way home. So not only is it entertaining for the crowd and the television crew, it's also entertaining on the ride home.
That's cool. That's cool.
I can only imagine, man. You want to talk about pillow talk, right?
Do you see most co-drivers are the husbands or boyfriends?
Boyfriends and husbands for the most part. Jamie and Jason are brother and sister.
Oh, okay.
So it's just a great. Everyone's a little bit different, so there's always another story. And again, that's what Terracross is about. It's about the storyline. It's about the entertainment. It's not so much about the racing. The racing's great. That's the cool part. We do get great racing out of this.
Yeah.
But it's the storylines that we're able to play out. And again, how many race series out there, especially professional TV race series out there, can you take a person that's literally never raced before?
Like me.
Yeah, like
well,
you.
I mean,
you've raced before.
But this is 4 wheels.
Four wheels, it's something different. and with very little training, you can go out there and be competitive. Not only race it, you don't have to be at the back of the pack. You can be competitive, and that's what's exciting about it. For us, and again, spec cars. Everybody in the Polaris RZR 1000s are in the exact same car. Ride height, minimum tire pressure, shocks. Everything's the same with a little bit of adjustability on the external shocks. Otherwise, it's all the same. So when it comes down to it, it does come down to the driver and a person of your ability in a race situation. You have that experience to go and be competitive because the other person's in that same vehicle as you.
Yeah.
So when it's all said and done, skip everything else. When it comes back, our goal is to put on great television, a great show for the spectators that are on site.
Yeah.
So guess what? Put them all in the same vehicle. What do you get? You get great racing. You get a great show. So that's the whole concept behind Terracross, and it's really fared well for us. And again, it's brought all of you guys to the table because you see the value in it and you see the excitement in it, and everybody gets excited once they get a part of it because it is very easy, very simple, kind of hard for some true racers to understand.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make sense. How can it be so cheap? How can it be so fun? And how do I get on television? I've been racing for years. How do I get on television like this? Well, that was the whole point.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I've been doing this a very long time, and I've made a lot of mistakes. Made some good decisions too somewhere along the way, but in the end, we just took all of those elements and really looked at what was the best for the racers, what was best for television, what was best for the crowd, and put it in this one package called Terracross.
That's so awesome, and it's really safe too. It's a really safe sport. People, talking to some of these other people, and that's important.
Well, it's important, especially with some of these high-profile athletes, action sports stars, and a lot of these guys, and even yourself. You're going to go do other stuff, and we encourage that. We want people. We don't want to run a ton of events. We want to run a few events, but we want those key people to come and be a part of it. And we want you back the next time.
Yeah.
So it is safe. It's these Polaris, and again, we run a stock roll cage.
Yep.
We run a lot of stock production Polaris parts on the vehicle as accessories. They have a great accessory line. So when it's all said and done, you can crash, and guys do. I mean, look at our boy Jason Ellis.
Yeah.
I mean, he's wadded up, but now he's actually being competitive.
Yeah.
So again, you got that safety factor, you got the fun factor, you got the wow factor. Another thing that we try and incorporate into our courses, as you guys have seen, we've got the tire elements, we got the jump elements, but we really try and keep the speeds down. And by keeping the speeds down, we're able to create racing. And by creating racing, you create the excitement. And you take away that high speed crashes, high speed risk, which means, again, you'll be able to come back for the next race.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the goal is at each racetrack that we try to develop 2 lines of similar speeds, so we have lots of passing opportunities and gives you an opportunity to get around some slower folks. And
no joker lane? No joker lane?
Well, we don't run a joker lane right now because if you look at our tracks, we basically incorporate the joker lane into a bunch of different sections. When we build our tracks, we build them with multiple lanes. So if you think of what the goal of a joker lane is, like we run at X Games with Rallycross and even some of the truck racing, the goal is to give an opportunity for passing. That's all it is. That's you're gonna swap people. We do that on every lap, and we do it in multiple sections on the course. Because when we put our loader tires out there and they've got to go over it, there's multiple lanes to go over that. It's not one lane. When you look at our straight stretches, there's 2 to 3 different lanes all the way down. So if you're in the lead on the right lane, the guy on the left might have a faster lane, so he's going to go by you. But then near the end, there's going to be a slower option. So we have like every corner, you basically in every section, we basically have a bunch of joker lanes that are built in. And again, that goes back to creating the racing, from throughout the whole race, not just in a joker lane.
Yeah. That's cool.
Awesome.
What a smart series you guys have.
I'm excited to get my feet wet in the series, definitely, and looking forward to driving those. I know some of the feedback I've got from drivers, hey, you're running Terracross, I want to get in. And Joe and I keep saying, hey, this guy's interested, Joe's like, holy crap,
You're going to have some more classes.
Yeah, exactly. But, I know we got to close this thing up here real quick, but where can more people find more information out on you guys?
Terracross Championship on Facebook and terracrossracing.com on the internet. And obviously check out your program as well, because obviously you'll be racing with us, and we're doing, of course, Terracross Radio for the first time this year. Thanks to Jim Beaver, we're going to have Terracross Radio at all our events, and it's going to be a pretty cool program. We've got some great guys that we can put on the radio, and great women racers. Plus, we have our Legends and Celebrities class, and don't forget our Hero Adaptive Action Sports class. So you got guys like Doug Henry there looking at it, Paul Thacker, and of course our Wounded Soldiers that's coming into play. Holtz Performance has built a hand-controlled vehicle that raced at Laughlin, and it did really, really well. And we've been waiting for that to get done, and now we're excited about bringing that to the table.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys, and we'll definitely catch up soon.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys. We appreciate it.
All right, we are going to take a short. We are going to take a short, about 2-3 minute break, and looks like we got Cameron Steele, resident Desert Assassin. He's going to be stepping into the box here in just a minute. So we'll be back live from Fremont Street at the Polaris RZR Mint 400 when we come back.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When R.J. Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning RZR XP 1000. RJ is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris RZRs to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris RZRs RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder RJ Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris RZR vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Baja, check. King of the Hammers, check. Crandon, check. The Mint 400, check. Only one wheel company can say they have dominated the deserts and rocks of the Southwest to the mud and carnage of the big house at Crandon, and that company is KMC Wheels. KMC Wheels has won them all with the help of elite drivers like Travis Pastrana, Ricky Johnson, Bryce Menzies, Carl Renazetter, and Lauren Healy, who all rely on the XD Series from KMC Wheels to get them to the finish line and on top of the podium. Check out KMC Wheels and their full line of XD Series wheels at KMCWheels.com or on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KMC Wheels. KMC Wheels, like no other. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. We're live from the Polaris RZR Mint 400 2015 edition. Jim Beaver, my co-host, Ami Houde, is hanging out, still talking some Terracross. But Cameron Steele, resident Desert Assassin, you're here holding it down. Mint 400, buddy. This is a big one.
You know, it really is. I mean, for us, it's become the second biggest race of the year. I mean, it rivals the importance of the Baja 1000. So instead of saying second, I guess I should say it's the most important race in the United States, and the Baja 1000 is the most important race in Baja. But, it's got a lot of legacy for my family. We started coming here in the 70s, and I've been fortunate enough to win it a number of times in limited car classes and a second overall once. So we'd like to redeem ourselves with that second overall. But it's just cool. You know, I used to walk down the street with my mom. She passed away in 97, and it brings back great memories to walk down the street with my daughter.
Yeah, well, I'm sure, and how about your old man? I mean, does he come out to this one? He's got to be like my dad. He comes here and it's like relive like the glory days, you know?
Yeah, we talk about it some. The days are so busy, sometimes you don't have time to talk about it, but it's good to sit down and think about those days. I mean, when I was a kid, I did a TV interview earlier and just talking about, them impounding the cars in the garages behind the Old Mint Hotel and, the cars just streaming down Fremont Street. And of course, the Mint 400 girls at the time, young kid, you're just like, whoa, look at these girls. And it's just super cool. I rode in the winning 5/1600 car in 1983 here. So we won by 22 seconds that day. So this is an amazing race. I mean, the Martelli brothers and Mad Media should be hailed for what they've done for off-road and for everything they've done. I mean, they're super solid when it comes to putting on an event or building the media around it.
Yeah, and those guys have helped grow the sport the past 5 to 10 years. I mean, there's a lot of us who try, but these guys are definitely, on point. I mean, I got to give them a lot of credit to the UTV movement. And a lot of people call them golf carts and joke around, but they've become a serious
including
force.
Me.
Yeah, but all things considered, they're pulling, 50, 60 entries. I mean, solid investment by Polaris. I mean, it's pretty remarkable.
I don't discount them at all.
Yeah.
I like to give them a hard time, but I give 1600 guys a hard time. Buggy dorks, and I call the trophy truck guys out. It's just part of my game.
Country clubbers.
Country clubbers, yeah. I mean, we are what we are, and, I'm an off-road racer, and I have tons of respect for what Polaris is doing. The UTV market is shocking, and just seeing the images and everything that went down in Laughlin just a few weeks ago, I mean, the UTV Underground event was massive.
Yeah. Well, and you've seen industries grow. I mean, you've seen the FMX. You were there at the beginning, and saw that explode into what it's become. I mean, you've seen these things that just start small, and then immediately it's just like something gets lit up, and it's just boom.
Yeah, I've been fortunate to be around a lot of cool things. I rode waves for a living straight out of high school. I raced Supercross, and
you were a sponger at one point, though.
Yeah,
I gotta give you a little.
You can give me a hard time if you want. I mean, I still ride waves. I still go to Cabo every year on my buddy's Freak Fest trip and pull into some shore break. But those days are behind me a little bit. But surf industry is still part of what I do. I spent last night at 11 o'clock. I was watching the finals of the WSL contest in Australia, and I'm still attached to it. But yeah, the freestyle motocross movement and the alternative sports, so to speak, action sports, whatever you want to call them. I mean, what an explosion! And I really see a lot of the same trending here in off-road. I mean, a lot of big stars coming this way, a lot of energy here, lots of sponsors, and a lot of longevity. I mean, guys that rode freestyle motocross, or even myself who rode and still ride. I mean, it's a lot more fun when you're hauling the mail and you have a cage around you at times. You don't have to worry about the stress of being on your dirt bike or hitting the ramp or riding the vert ramp, which I'm not saying I ever rode the vert ramp, at least not well.
Well, and we've seen that. I mean, even X Games. I mean, you've been involved with X Games for a long time now, and
16 years actually.
You've seen even the X Games movement has become more motor based. We call them action motorsports, but I know this year they're bringing in, I believe, like flat tracking. With dirt bikes, but or with flat track motorcycles. But we've seen SST, we've seen GRC. I mean, it's even becoming a lot of more motor based, and guys like Deegan are crossing over, and Pastrana obviously, and you've seen a lot of that.
The writing was on the wall when I went to the X Games. The first time they hired me was in '99, and the vert ramp was during practice, and it was jammed up over there. And no one had seen freestyle motocross yet. But I can tell you this, as soon as a bike started over on the freestyle motocross track, the writing was on the wall because it was a tidal wave of people running from the vert ramp to the moto course. So I think motors, I mean, there's a lot of attraction to motors. I mean, the distance they can jump, the speeds we can go, the motor sounds. I mean, there's so much to it. And that's why motorsports is such a big part of American culture. I mean, motorsports is really Americana.
Yeah. Well, and I know with you guys, we've talked about this before, and there's a few teams, and you pride yourself in in your sponsors and representing them, and you've been one of the few teams that have been able to generate sponsorship and done a lot of activation around your the stuff you're involved with and things like that, and you've brought a lot of new sponsors into the game, and I applaud you guys for that, and I think it's. You guys to be, like you said, your race program, sustains itself for the most part, and that's big in this industry because not many teams are able to do that.
Yeah, I mean,
hey, look at that sharp-looking truck
rolling.
Hey. I know I'm going to turn the tables and interview you in a few minutes. So for everybody listening, but one of my questions is going to be, why 15? Is it just because you're sandwiched between 14 and 16? Yeah. We'll leave it at that for now because the Desert Assassins are 14 and 16, Heidi and myself. So, but we'll catch up on that a little bit later. But yeah, sustainability is what's important, and it's people like Martelli's and these events, and whether it's Score with CBS coverage or Best in the Desert with the MAV TV coverage, we have to have the media to be able to do the sponsorship thing. And we've been fortunate for the last few years to be above water, be able to run a race team on sponsorships, and that was my goal when we got back into off-road racing in 2003, and we've made it. We're taking pictures here on Fremont Street. You guys don't be jealous.
Yeah, you'll see the posters, the pictures posted to Instagram here in a little bit.
But so it's good. I mean, and part of our ACP right here.
Yeah,
he's coming on after I interview you, right?
He's coming on in a bit.
But, just having the sponsors and doing the work, it's hard work. And, we realized early on you can't win every race. So we've, tried to reinvent ourselves and do some different stuff. And that's why you see Rift Cabo and some of the other platforms that we work on. We're hosting 4 truck trips this year in Mexico and 6 bike trips. And, it's we're not a tour company, but we're going to have some fun sharing it with some people.
Yeah, and I know, your trips. I know I got to get down on one of your rapid
I've invited you a number of times.
No, I'm consistently on the list, and it's always I got some kind of date conflict or something.
I'll tell you this: there's never a good time to go. Yeah. You know what? There's never a good time to just take 7 days and leave.
Just do it.
But or 4 days on the smaller trip. We're doing one called Truckin' Good Times, and if you don't just go, you're never going to go. Yeah. There's always something tying you down. And, you know, I have family, work, job, race team, whatever. Sometimes I just have to say, hey, it's not the perfect time to go, but guess what? The bills aren't getting paid, and I'm out of here. Someone's got to watch Booger. We're going.
Nice. Well, and that's what's cool about you. You know, obviously you and Heidi's involved in you know, most of what you do. And, you know, you've got your daughter now, and, you know, she's a trooper and brought along for the ride. And it's got to be cool to be able to share that with your family, because a lot of people can't do that, you know?
Yeah, I think April will be Kay's 12th trip to Cabo already, and she's almost 3 years old. So she's been around a bit. She's flown a bit. She's traveled in the trucks last year on trail emissions. Our truck trip, she did a small segment. And this year, we're projecting she's going to do most of the trip in the truck with us. And so it's families, it's husbands, it's wives, it's friends. The trail emissions trip is really an amazing thing. It's like the dirt bike trip, but you don't have to put boots on in your backpack. You know, you just jump out of bed, put your sandals on, jump in the truck, and off you go.
Does she have a little PW yet?
No, you know, she hasn't really shown that much interest in even riding bicycles that much. And I think partially because – you know, we've tried to encourage her to ride the bicycle around the house and stuff, but we haven't been riding bicycles. So if she doesn't see us doing it, she's not going to be into it. But what she is into is Frozen. She loves to sing. She's in ballet.
Awesome.
The stuff she wants to do,
yeah.
I mean, the stuff that she wants to do, she can do. If she looks at Daddy's race car or Mommy's race car and says, I want to go racing or I want to drive, you know, she sees a cart going by or something, I want to do that, then she can do that if that's what she wants. But we're going to be careful not to push her into anything. You know, I think that we'll just let her kind of like find her flavor and do what she wants to do. But, you know, whatever it is, I think she'll have fun doing it, and that's the most important part.
Well, and talking about, you know, the family thing, I mean, obviously it was had been a big deal for you guys. Heidi, one of ESPN's 50 most influential female action sports athletes. I mean, that had been a pretty big deal.
One of my role models, just going to say.
You know, I think the thing for Heidi has been that it started off as, you know, just fun, and she became a sponsored driver, and, you know, she worked her way up from Sportsman Buggy to the 7SX and ended up winning the Driver of the Year thing, and she's had a great team behind her. But it's kind of evolved now because as we look at my role in the sport, you know, this is my 31st year of racing off-road cars, or, you know, my first drive was in 85, so this 30-year anniversary.
Don't age yourself, buddy.
I was just going to say, how old are you?
I was only 5 when I did that.
Way too much.
But, you know, her role has shifted, you know. Like, my role, I feel like, is as a guy that's trying to win races, but also I have to be a leader of the sport. And, you know, guys like myself and Rob McCachran are kind of in that middle-aged group of guys that have been around a long time. So we need to lay a good base for guys like Tavo and BJ and Bryce and whoever's coming next to kind of take over that torch. But my wife, on the other hand, not only has that responsibility, but she has an entire, I mean, the women that want to go off-road racing or racing in general or just want to have someone to look up to that's doing something that's not really normal. I mean, Jim, when you and I were kids, probably when you were a kid, I don't know, you look pretty young, but when we were kids, we didn't even really play with the girls. You know, at the park, the girls did their thing, the guys did their thing. You know, now you see kids run around smacking each other with, you know, styrofoam stuff. The girls are doing the same kind of stuff, and that comes back to also having them be able to race. So I think she's become a role model that's really fun. It's different, you know, and I'm really proud of what she's accomplished, but also how serious she takes not only her racing, but that position as a woman in motorsports.
Yeah, and I mean, as a woman in motorsports, it's really hard to play that, you know, feminine side where you really have to watch and, you know that fine line between being, you know, too sexy and being classy, but being.
I don't think you can be too sexy. If I was a good-looking dude, I mean, the bottom line is, I mean, I understand if you sex it up too much, people are going to discount you as non-talented. You look, you look good. That's why you got the spot.
Exactly.
But you know, we did Heidi did a profile in Dirt Sports Magazine maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and so we were talking about ideas, and Boyd James was coming over to do photos. I said, babe, I think what you ought to do is you ought to put on some Daisy Dukes, get out there with the water bucket, and wash your truck in the driveway. She's like, oh, that's kind of cheesy. You know, I don't really want to do that. And I'm like, look, let's do the photo and see how it works. You can do any kind of photos you want. Yeah. You know, do a bunch of different stuff. They ended up running a 2-page spread of it with me holding the dog and, you know, watching. But I thought it was kind of tongue-in-cheek, and I think it's fun that she is sexy. You know, I don't care if you're pretty or you're not pretty, but if you want to play up how you look, how you dress, how you act, then so be it. I don't discount any woman
That's awesome.
because she's good-looking as a non-talent. I don't think that women on TV, because they're pretty, aren't good at their job.
I wish there was more people who had that mentality, really.
Well, I think it's still a very sexist society that we live in. I think that there's still a lot of division between, guys racing and guys thinking their women should race, and part of that is because, and I can speak from real life experience. My wife recently crashed at the Henderson 250, and she's still out. She's not racing this race because she's just recovering from a concussion. So the woman is a nurturer of the children, right? So she's the mother of my child. So, although I encourage her to do whatever she wants, I still have to think about, hey, she's responsible for our baby. I am too. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I just leave her with the kid and I take off and gallivant around the world.
Yeah.
But there's something to be said for a kid and their mom. And I had that relationship with my mom. I was a mama's boy for sure. And so some of that makes me nervous about having her in the car, and I can see that from husbands and boyfriends and whatever, family members. But at the same time, if they want to do it, I say let it, grip it and rip it, go,
That's great. Yep. It's awesome.
Awesome. Well, I don't know. Good luck out there this Saturday, my friend. And I guess, is this where we flip the tables?
Yes, this is where we flip the tables. So
we're doing a Down and Dirty radio show first here. My buddy Cameron Steele decided I don't get interviewed enough, so he's flipping the tables, and for the next few minutes, he's interviewing me. So this should get really interesting really quick.
All right, so let's take a deep breath. Everybody listening at home, on the web, wherever you're listening, welcome to Jimmy Beaver's Down and Dirty Off-Road Motorsports Show. I'm Cameron Steele, your host for the next 10 minutes. Will you join me?
Yes, I'm Ami Houde, and we're going to flip the tables on you, Jim.
All right.
Okay,
Get you out of your shell.
So what I thought of when I brought this idea up was that, Jim Beaver, like me, we like to do stuff for the sport, but we're also racers. It's hard to interview yourself. It's hard to put that story out there. So I thought that it would be fun to have a little bit of history, with Jim Beaver. His family has deep roots in racing, of course, deep roots in Parker. Manny Escara, part of the family, so to speak, working for your grandfather, as I understand it, a legend in off-road racing, probably part of where you got your inspiration. So I just thought it would be fun to start. Let's start with a number, because one thing people don't know about me a lot is the 16 is because I race 1,600 cars. Oh. So I'm claiming my roots with the 16. Why the 15, Jimmy? And don't tell me it's because that was the only number available.
No, because when I got that, I've had that number since like 01, 02. Back in score. So we're talking back when there's like 15 trucks entered, right? So there was lots of good numbers. I think all the single digits were gone, but no, it was, there's a lot of stuff out there and, available. And at the time I looked at 15, it wasn't ever a special number. I always wanted to be 88 because my dad raced Class 8 and he used to be like 808. And I thought that'd be kind of a good homage to him. That was gone. And so 15 was out there, and it was like right after Waltrip had won Daytona, him and Earnhardt, they had that great finish. I can't remember. It was like a 1-2-3 Waltrip won or something, and it was the year Earnhardt died. But it was one of those things where that could work, and so it stuck. And I guess you could say Michael Waltrip maybe, but I'm not a Michael Waltrip fan. It was just it happened to be available at the time.
He happens to be a good broadcaster too, so I mean, you kind of there's some synergy there.
So that I guess would be the reason why, but it was available. He just won Daytona. It was there was some synergies there, so I'll roll with that. But there's no now it's become, an institution, and it's like it's my number, but back then it wasn't,
Now you can't get away from it.
Yeah, exactly,
So speaking of your number, your truck, you have a very interesting format. Single seat, it's something that not everybody's doing. In fact, I would struggle to come up with one other person that's doing it, but one person who did do it very well, Ivan Stewart.
Yeah.
Is that your inspiration? Is it just a lighter vehicle? Is it what is it?
Dave and Dan were the inspiration. Ashley and Smith. I mean, those guys were dialed. They won as many races as you can imagine in trophy truck, Baja, you name it. And when we built that truck, I mean, Dave and Dan and my dad are very, very good friends back from the Class 8 days. And then Dick Landfield, obviously, he's a Ford dealer, and my dad is. So, there's a tie in there. So we spent a lot of time out at Ashley and Smith's shop. We ended up taking possession of this chassis, which was the same chassis as theirs that Savage built. So, it made sense to make it a single seat. It is a little bit narrower of a chassis. And back then, there was still some guys doing single seat. The truck is a little bit lighter than everybody else's. The view you get from the center. You've driven Pete's trucks in the center. I mean, it's a great view.
I think it's a huge advantage.
Sitting in the center, it's a huge advantage. Disadvantage is you don't have a co-rider. So, if I had to do it over again, my next truck, it's definitely going to be a 2-seat. But I'm happy with this one. It's fun.
It's interesting that you say that because the next thing I was going to say is as the sport has evolved. Now we're talking about Dan and Dave, great racers. Ivan Stewart, hands down huge talent.
Roger Mears used to run a single seat,
But let's talk about the evolution of the sport. Also, there weren't radio communications that were solid. There weren't really GPSs. There weren't really the solid trail marking. There weren't the trail notes maybe that people are doing. So now maybe you're suffering a little bit from this because the evolution has made that right seat so important. Mm-hmm. You're doing it all. You're the driver. You're the psychiatrist because my navigator is my psychiatrist. You're the GPS. You're the guy changing the tires. So, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, and it has. The sport's evolved. My truck is 9 years old at this point. This is 06 we finished it. First race may have been beginning of 07. So, it's getting pretty old. How these trucks are.
That's not old.
Well, it's
one of my trucks was built in 2001. So,
but it's not old. But as far but you've upgraded. It's like this year we had to put a new brake package on, a $10,000 brake package. You know what I mean? It's
I know what you mean.
Yeah. It's just one of those things. The evolution. It's an old truck. It's which is no big deal. You upgrade the shocks, you upgrade the brakes. Just constant upgrades. But I don't even know where I was going with that. But it's the sport has evolved. The trucks now are just amazing. But you look at the stuff that McCachran and those guys used to race back in the late 90s with the Rough Riders and Simon and Simons and those trucks. And, as fast as they were, I really, everybody has their theories. Oh, they'd be competitive today. I really don't think they would.
I'll agree with you. I don't think that those vehicles and, the effort that was going in, I think one reason why Ivan was so successful was because he was putting in a bigger effort. But now I think, the tides have changed, and there's 20 teams that can win this race. Maybe more, maybe 30.
Yeah.
When you really think about how many switched-on teams there are, guys that have won or guys that have been on the podium, it's changed. It's not where one car or one team is winning, 6 of the 8 races each year.
Well, that's good for the sport, though, too.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think it's incredible for the sport to have so many different talented drivers and so many great trucks. You look at the Geysers, you look at the SPDs that are still around. even the truck Clyde Stout built, your truck. There's the racer trucks are obviously phenomenal as well. There's a lot of great equipment out there, and I think it's made it easier for guys to race trophy truck.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think it's made better racers also.
Well, that's ultimately how you're going to grow the sport is because you're going to get people who know that they actually have a chance. It's not just one team walking away. They could be that guy too.
Well, I think the evolution also, like right now you look at Supercross, and we'll get back to interviewing Jimmy. I'm sorry we're going off on a tangent here. Supercross, the 20th rider is important.
Yes.
And I think our sport is getting more towards that. I think at some point we will have qualifying, and you'll only have 40 vehicles making the show in the trophy truck class. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Really?
But, I think it needs to go that way. I think not everybody has to race just because you got to the race. In NASCAR, not everybody races.
Yeah.
You got to qualify to make the show. But we can talk about that another day. Let's talk about your inspiration.
Yes.
Now, your family has deep roots, I think, dating back to 1917, owning the Ford dealership.
Yeah.
I know that you guys have been there since the 90s in Parker. Talk about some of the people that influenced you. I know your dad was a big influence coming from the Class 8 trucks.
Yeah, my grandpa, he's a Hall of Fame boat racer. He's just a multi-time hydroplane champion, and my dad was literally training to be a boat racer. And because of that, one of my grandpa's drivers at the time ended up getting in a hellacious boat accident, dying, and my grandpa's like, "No, that's not happening." Well, my grandpa had ties with Bill Stropp, and so we ended up getting dialed in with Bill Stropp, and he kind of trained my dad. Taking more pictures here, Cameron Steele for social media. And, I get tied. My dad got tied in with Bill Stropp through my grandpa and through their relationship with Ford. And Bill kind of took my dad under his wing. And, and Dad actually was pre-running partners with Mickey Thompson for a year. And Mickey kind of showed him quite a few things. And, so kind of ran with the ball. And, he spent 30-some years in Class 8. And that's when Class 8 was a trophy truck, And kind of things – he kind of handed the torch to me, and I spent time in the limited classes. I've run sportsman truck, I've run stock full, I've run Class 8. I moved up to trophy truck. I'm a product of the ladder, kind of like yourself, and I think more people in the sport ought to be products of the ladder instead of stepping into a Class 1 or a trophy truck. I think it would definitely make for better drivers and smarter drivers.
I think that's another topic that we could go off on for sure. I think licensing for trophy trucks should be something that, in the future of the sport is talked about. I don't think that you should be able to just come out and jump in a 800 horsepower, 35-inch travel, 40-inch tire beast and just be able to go race. I think there's definitely should be a learning curve, and I think it shows that some of our best drivers have made their way through the ranks. I mean, obviously Rob McCacken, but then on the flip side, a guy like Bryce Menzies didn't really race other classes. He raced short course, but now look at the dominant force he is. So there's both ways to look at it for sure.
What would be the first step? Like, what's the entrance?
I think it's hard to say. I mean, the UTVs are great because they're cost effective. They're incredible piece of equipment. You used to say 516 or 1600.
Trophy light's not a bad start.
Yeah, trophy light. Yeah, I think those are all, there's lots of good possibilities there. But I think with like you were saying, Jimmy, the way the UTVs have grown and what Polaris is doing, I think that's going to be really not only a starter class but an elite class. I think they're going to have to separate it out. I think there's multiple levels that are going to continue to grow and evolve. But, again, we digress. Let's get back to you. You talk about Mickey Thompson. It's interesting that Mickey Thompson had influence on your family. My dad went to his first off-road race with Mickey Thompson. He flew for Mickey at the 1970 Baja 1000. So, and that brings me to the next thing of what you're doing with the radio show, what we all do trying to promote our sport. Mickey Thompson touched your family. Mickey Thompson touched my family. I think that's our job as guys that are, leading forces in our sport to do the same for the next generation of guys.
Exactly.
To reach out, to touch them, and to someday, someone say, I have a great story to tell. Jim Riley, the first time he ever went to an off-road race was with me. First time he ever went in an off-road car was with me. Now he and his brother are both hooked on the crack that we're smoking and owning race cars. Sorry, guys, but that's the kind of story, the evolution of us giving back to the sport, and I think it's huge what you do. And before we go off on the radio show, a little bit more about the family. Talk about that. The Parker, Arizona is such a tiny area, but there's a lot of influence that's come from that area. And, of course, one of the major races of the year is right in your backyard.
Yeah, that's a big deal. It's lucky for us having, the 425 right there, and I've been able to, not only train with the best and pre-run with guys like Manny Esquera, who's won the Mint, Baja, you name it. I mean, he's off-road Hall of Famer, but my dad, who's, been able to pass on a lot of knowledge to me. It's definitely, there's some areas that if you're going to be an off-road team, you want to be based out of, and I'd say, Vegas, SoCal, Parker, those are probably three of your great areas. Phoenix wouldn't be a bad choice either, but kind of right in the middle of everything, so it's been a blessing, It's not a far drive for any event.
Yeah, well, if you want to get out in the dirt, you probably want to live in Parker. You know, you don't want to live where I live, and you definitely, Phoenix, it's crazy. You go down there, and it's hard to find places to go out in the dirt sometimes.
Well, it's not us, literally. We don't have trailer our car to test. We pull it out of the shop. The cops all know us. They wave. We drive the trophy truck through the city streets out of town, and we're testing.
I always love going, what was it, the Coffee Urn? Is that still there? I love going to breakfast over there. There's some great history on the sport. I drove my first race in Parker, actually, in 1985. Nice. So, all right, now the question that's been burning in my mind, why the radio show? Where did all this come from? Where did the media savvy? Did you just did you go to school for it? Did all of a sudden you just say, I'm going to do this?
No, it was one of those things where I was doing. I was actually, I cut some radio spots for our local station. Hosted a fantasy football radio show of all things for a local AM station.
Hey, we all got to start somewhere.
And Jim Holthus, Jim,
sure.
And he had his radio show, and he pulled the plug on the off-road portion and went to his Celebrity Edge show or whatever, called Jim and said, hey, dude, I said, you got any interest to do off-road radio more? He's like, no, it's dead. You can't make any money at it. I'm over it. I'm like, if I started up a show, would you have a problem with it? No, have fun. The sport needs something, but he's like, I'm over it. That's what it amounted to, and I'm like, okay, and so I knew nothing about radio. I knew how to talk, but, that was about it. So
that's the only skill set I ever had, was that I could run my mouth.
And it was one of those things, literally, I no communications background started out, and our first shows were rough, man. I didn't know any of the production value, none of that, and it's grown, and, now here we are, anywhere from 500,000 to 1 million listeners, uniques, Fox and iHeart just picked us up for some stuff. I'm doing some TV. I'm traveling Rally America, Global Rallycross. kind of, once the doors start opening, it's like they just keep opening and opening, and here I am, guy with no communications background, and I'm doing TV and everything else, and I mean, I would have never figured that.
Do you feel bad when people ask you, they come up and they say, hey, I'm going to school to be a broadcaster right now, or I'm going to journalism school, how did you get your start? You're like,
Yeah. Well, I know your story is you told me you were at a freestyle motocross show, and you were slated to compete, and they said, hey, we need somebody on the mic. You're a big talker.
Pretty much.
That's awesome.
And you go, well, and they go, well, it pays better than
10th place.
Than 10th place, and you're like, well, give me the mic.
Yeah, 44 competitors, first event with metal ramps, and I wasn't all that good. And they offered me the job, and I took it, and I think that, going back to that, I think it's good people do go for the journalism. They get that background. And there's other ways in. I mean, you can get down and dirty and just start doing it yourself. Robbie Gordon walking by.
Yeah.
But you get the opportunities by just going out and trying, asking for the job. People ask me, well, what's my best avenue? Just go to a production company and ask, or start your own radio. I've met so many people that have started their own shows. Now, whether they take off or not, that's a whole other deal. You have the ability to speak, your production's getting better, and you have good contacts in the sport. So it's booming for you, and I'm stoked for you. I mean, one thing that I think is great about what you do, Jimmy, is that you're very selfish, or selfless. And sorry, Freudian slip. You're selfless. You're willing to put the sport in front of yourself, which I think very few people are willing to do. And I think that was one of the reasons that I wanted to take the time to interview you, because you're not just flapping your gums about your race truck. It's more important for you to build our entire sport, and I have a lot of respect for that.
Well, I appreciate that. Coming from you, a guy that's, I don't want to say I've modeled what I do after you, but you're another guy. I mean, you've got so many, you're in front of the camera so often, and most of the time anything you're doing is taking a back seat, and it's almost when somebody brings it up and you're on camera, it's like almost awkward for you at times, because you're like, I don't want to talk about that. Let's go back to here, and and that's one thing that I've seen you do, and I've always tried to do that. There's a time and a place for it, and sometimes it's not the time and the place. Sometimes let's just grow this thing.
Yep, I totally agree. And so sometimes it's hard to pick which face it is. People come up to you, they want to talk to you or whatever. You're like, okay, is it media personality guy? Is it racer guy? What is it? But at the end of the day, it all intermingles, and that's why I think you have great success, because you are the racer, you're the radio guy or TV guy or live announcer last night, whatever it is. But I think what you guys are doing, and obviously you joining the show, I mean, it's great to have it build, and it's growing the entire community. So I'm stoked to see you here on Fremont Street. We did this as kids, and now we get to do it as well, I guess I could call myself middle-aged at this point. I don't know.
Nah, we won't let anybody in on middle-aged, right?
Middle-aged.
No, you got a 3-year-old, dude.
I got a
You're
3-year-old,
still young. You're young, man.
I'm still young at heart, at the very least. Maybe.
You're young for another 15 years at least.
At least. She's going to be kicking my butt. But thanks for having me, and hopefully we did a good job talking about you a little bit.
Right.
Let me ask you, do you still cause trouble on the river?
When I get a chance, man. So next time you're in Parker, it's Silver Bullets. We need to catch up.
Oh, geez. I could be talked into that. I'm actually looking forward to this year. I'm hoping to put it on the calendar to come out to the smaller Parker race.
It's a fun one, man.
I love that race. We finished second there a couple years ago, and I think it's a phenomenal great time.
It's growing, and every year, it's a fun one. It's different. Obviously, your boy Josh Daniels taking home the win. That was a big deal for him this year. But, it's kind of a little bit like Laughlin used to be, but it's a little bit longer course. But kind of the same vibe there, and I think it's a fun event.
If I come out like a couple months before, can we go out in your UTV and check out some of the lines?
Absolutely. The Razor will definitely get you dialed in with some pre-run.
All right, so there we go. On
any reservation. It's not BLM land, so
it's not pre-running because we don't really know what the course is going to be.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or something.
We don't know what the course will be, but it hasn't changed in 4 years. So.
All right. Well, wait. Thanks for coming on the show, Jimmy.
Yeah.
It was great to interview you,
nice
and at this point, I'll have to hand it back over to you guys.
All right.
Thank you
nice
for having me as well.
And
all
good
right,
luck.
for sure.
Good luck.
Yeah, we got to get Ami Houde. She's out on one of your bike rides in Baja or something, man. Girls.
I would truly love it. Why not? The Rift to Cabo has been very stringent, guys only, for a number of reasons. Cause,
I'm like a guy girl.
Well, here's the problem. Real quick. You take guys in Mexico for 10 days. you're riding, it's great. All of a sudden, pictures start showing up on the internet of girls hanging out, and then the wives are like going, "Okay, I don't get it. What's going on here?"
Well,
so
I could like throw my hat on and
you can ride. We got a ride called the Beach Bash that Johnny Campbell and I do. We raise money for orphanage in July. If you would like to come, you're invited. July 23rd through 26th are the days.
That sounds amazing.
Awesome.
You can come too.
Yeah, I definitely
bring your truck. You can do some sweeping. We'll give you some GPS.
Do you actually get to ride on the beach?
This is correct.
Problem is, I love
I'm
riding
Canada,
bikes, but I get off more than I'm on.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, you're welcome to ride a bike, but if you want to come and do some support in your truck, that's great too.
Cool.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
We'll definitely have to talk with you. Thanks, Cameron. Take it easy, brother.
Cheers, everybody. I'm going to
luck.
get some lunch.
Good luck.
All right, take it easy. That was Cameron Steele. We're going to take a short break. Amy, grab something to drink for about 2 or 3 minutes, and we got ACP. Actually, we may not be getting a chance. We got Andrew Comrie Picard. He is showing up. He's sitting down. A fellow Canadian. You're going to love this.
Yeah.
We got ACP catching up with Cameron Steele. But Cameron, I mean, you've known Cameron for a long time. Obviously, he's a bike guy. He calls them buggy dorks and stuff, but he's a two-wheel guy at heart, you know, and the guy's
you
still.
You never lose that. You never lose your
you never do. And, once you've ever been on a bike, you never lose it. I mean, I don't talk about it a lot, but I, rode bikes growing up, and it's still one of those things. I love to get on a bike any chance I get.
Well, that's the thing. Like, anywhere you go and, you have that opportunity, you just jump on. You're like, yeah, let's go riding. Especially out here in the desert.
Well, I was like talking to Destry Abbott. I don't even own a bike at this point in time. I sold mine. I need to get another one at some point.
You can ride mine.
Yeah. But I was talking with Destry, and he's like, oh, come on down. I'm like, I just need to buy a bike and go to Destry's just to ride with Destry Abbott.
I know. I mean, I'm pretty sure he probably has like 20 other bikes that we could ride. So we'll make the trip together.
Yeah, exactly. So, definitely fun time so far. So what are you thinking about this whole Mint experience? Everybody kind of cruising by and flowing through?
It's awesome. I mean, I just really want to get out there and be able to check all the different vehicles out. So, it's really cool. What's going on tonight? Is there some fun action going down here at the main stage again?
We got a drivers meeting tonight is what we got. Drivers meeting and pretty much kind of winding things down about 6 o'clock on Fremont. We got drivers meeting later on tonight.
You guys got a race tomorrow, so you can't go too hard.
Yeah, I don't know. You and Renner can run the town
we'll
again.
We'll take over Vegas.
Yeah.
It's funny how, I'm out here. I don't really know too many people, but then I'm running into all these people that I know, a lot of bike people, a lot of industry people. So it's really cool. Cool atmosphere. But, I want to get out there and check some things out.
For sure.
Some nice-looking cars.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely lots of fun. So what time do you fly out tomorrow? You're going to be able to go out and check out the race, right?
I'm going to get up early, and I'm actually going to try to get out there, right when things start because I have to fly out at 2.
Oh.
So I got the long flight back to Canada, and, it kind of sucks.
Now you got to get back to Canada so you can do radio with me again on Monday, right?
Yeah, that's for sure. So that means I have to call my parents to PVR the Supercross so that I can make sure I can watch the race this weekend.
Yeah, we do have Supercross going on. Snowcross finale this weekend, too.
Is it Indy this weekend?
I don't know. It's bad. I'm so in Mint mode. I haven't even looked. But
I know.
Snowcross finale going on right now, too, and looks like Tucker Hibbert going to take that. But,
of course it's Tucker Hibbert. He's a legend.
Yeah, we got Scott Rain over here going, it's Snowcross, but Tucker, it's all Tucker. Nobody can deal with Tucker.
It was really funny, actually. Tucker, from Minnesota, he races bikes, so I get the opportunity to race a couple of races with him in the summer. But not last year, but I think it was the year before. We were racing, and he just wadded up in front of me so hard. I don't know how the guy got back up. But then he was up racing the next moto. Like, that guy is just, he's older. Yeah. He's just made of steel. He's a mad machine. Wadded up.
For sure. It looks like we got Brandon Sims skipping in here. We're going to catch up with one of my Polaris RZR buddies here.
Awesome.
And got to tell you, Brandon, coming off the UTV World Championship, you are the world champion.
I guess that's what they say, huh?
Amazing.
Yeah. How's it feel, man? I mean, that's a big win. That was your first it's your first win. You had a lot of podiums last year, stepping in and taking the World Championship. It's a huge deal, buddy.
I did, yeah. Last year was my first year in the pro desert racing scenario. So once we got a lot of podiums last year, and then finally this year, everything had a race that actually went perfect, which is hard to find these days, and it actually equated to a first place finish, which was awesome. And it's still kind of just setting in right now. When the race was over, I didn't, it was kind of surreal, and now it's all kind of hitting me hard now.
Yeah, well, and rolling into this, you only had a couple of weeks downtime in between, UTV World Championship and this one. I mean, this is another big one. This is a major event to win. I mean, what's it going to take to win here for you guys?
Yeah, after, we did both races at the World Championship. We did the short course and the desert, and then the weekend after that, I went and did a works race just because it was close to home, and I like racing. So
that's awesome.
So I went and did another race. I had 1 week off. I took a weekend off and started prepping the car shortly after that. And then coming out to this race, this is obviously one of the biggest races. The field's stacked. It's going to take a lot. I got to have a perfect race to win. I'm starting on the pole, which ought to help. And I hope I prepped everything perfectly. I do all my own prep, so if anything happens, it's on me. But I'm hoping, everything went perfect as far as that goes. It's going to take a lot. It's going to be a big deal.
Yeah. What's the strategy going into there with that many cars behind you? What is there, like 50 cars behind you? You're on the pole. I mean, do you get out front, get clean air, and just try and check out?
I don't know yet. I gotta figure out a strategy. I don't know if I want to go check out on it, or if I want to kind of, run it. It's a long race, 360-something miles, I think it is, and that's a lot of time. But these UTVs have been finishing within seconds of each other in a 1,000-mile race. We did the Baja 1000. I think we beat second place by a couple minutes. And it's kind of crazy that this long of a race that we're going to be winning by possibly seconds. Or it could be minutes. So I don't know what my strategy is yet. I'm going to go to sleep thinking about it, and hopefully I have a strategy by the morning.
Yeah. Well, and how has it been for you? I mean, last year in Independent, you were getting some solid finishes. Polaris picked you up. You're factory driver this year. I mean, how has that transition been to you and being part of the, officially part of the Polaris family now?
This was always a dream to be part of a factory team. I'm just, I work a normal 8 to 5:30 job every day. I work for my dad, and I still do it. And basically, it just added another 40 hours to my work week. Once I got that factory sponsorship, as soon as I get off of work, I just work on the car. But to have that, that backing, and it really made a big difference. It makes me try super hard. I want to impress them, and I want to continue I want to continue on to this and build.
Yeah, for sure. So, what are the plans for you this year? Obviously, Best in the Desert. You're going to be running the UTVs there, and then, obviously doing some works. I mean, what's the schedule for you guys this year?
Well, I was last year was just planning on doing Best of Desert, and then Polaris had me go race the Baja 500, and obviously we got second there. And then Johnny Angel from UTV Inc. got a hold of me and wanted me to go race the 1000, and went and raced that with him and got first there. This year we teamed up with Johnny again to do the Baja series, or the Score series. And we're going to run all the races with him, and I'm going to run the Best in the Desert. I dabbled a little bit in works. I just talked to Joe Duncan with Terracross. It looks like we're going to be working with Terracross again.
Oh, nice.
I heard you're doing a little bit of that,
yeah.
And so that's a pretty fun series. A lot of battling, a lot of bumping, and that's a cool race too. So I've got a full schedule. I'm looking at like 2 races per month.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy to be doing all that, and then Terracross thrown in. And I know, talking about that, I'm looking at the field, and I know obviously RJ, Levi's back, yourself. I'm jumping in. I heard Ronnie Renner's going to be doing it. I mean, McGrath. I mean, you look at that's a star-studded cast there. I mean, it's going to be a tough one. I even heard Brandon Schuler's interested in doing it this year, so it's going to be I don't even know, man. A podium there is going to be pretty tough.
Oh, it is, and I don't know if the same person can pull a podium every race.
Yeah.
It's going to be so heated, and it's so different kind of racing. It's a different style of racing than what I've ever been used to, and but it's fun. I mean, you're doing it in front of a crowd, and there's jumps, and there's people rolling everywhere. But it's an awesome series to go out there and promote and have fun.
Yeah. So how's the Mint been treating you so far? I mean, all these festivities down here in Fremont and stuff, and being part of the Team Polaris.
Oh, it's been awesome. It's been busy. I mean, from 7 o'clock this morning till now, it's been go, 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 go. But the amount of people out here, the vendors, the fans that are out here, it's awesome. It's more than I imagined for sure.
Yeah, and anybody, what kind of media attention have you got? I mean, people coming up to you after the UTV World Championship win. I mean, you got a lot of people, kind of recognizing what you did now.
Yeah, for sure. And then we've got, hero cards printed up, and I just was over at Rugged Radio signing a whole bunch of hero cards, and the fans are awesome, and this class is such a growing class that people are starting to recognize, individuals from this, from the 1900 class, and we're getting a little recognition, which is kind of cool, and a lot of these bigger companies are stepping in and sponsoring us, and you're making us, they make us feel good.
Yeah, and I think that's what's cool about the UTV class in general. You guys have it's become a marquee class in desert racing, and normally that's reserved for for the trophy trucks and Class 1 cars, but UTVs, you guys have really made your presence known. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's growing so fast. I mean, obviously, I think we've got the biggest class this year at the Mint, which is crazy, and it's awesome that you can go out and buy one, and do some safety stuff to it and be able to race,
Yeah, Yeah, for sure. Definitely cool. So what's on tap for you the rest of today?
Oh, I think I've got a couple more things to do with UTV Underground. From there, I think we've got some other Polaris stuff to do, and then drivers meeting, and then I head out to the track and got the RV, so I'm going to go stay the night and hopefully get a game plan together and get it all figured out, and hopefully, go for that first place.
All right, awesome. Well, I appreciate you stopping by. We're going to have to get you on air on a Monday sometime.
Yeah,
and that
definitely.
way we can spend a little more time with you and talk some UTV racing. But, I'm up in Prescott quite a bit, so we'll have to get in touch when I'm up there.
Definitely. Get a hold of me, and we'll go out and have lunch or something.
All right, sounds good, buddy.
Cool, thanks.
All right, thanks
Appreciate
a lot, Brandon. Congrats, and good luck tomorrow.
Yes, thank you. You
All
too.
Right. All right, that was Brandon Sims, Polaris RZR racer and factory Polaris driver, UTV world champion. I'm just looking at some snowcross stuff from Scott Ryan. It's 6 degrees. We got ACP, Andrew Comrie Picard. He is stepping in here. Somebody I know from the rally community. And a fellow Canadian, Ami Houde's fellow Canadian.
Hello.
Here. So,
all Canadians are attractive.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah.
All Canadians are
myself
attractive,
accepted.
right?
I had to move to the U.S. as a result. Yeah.
So I got to ask you. I mean, everybody knows ACP, Andrew Comrie Picard. Rally America, Stage Rally. They know you from there. Why are we seeing you at the Mint 400, my friend?
Well, a couple of things happened, actually. I'm a longtime partner with BF Goodrich in Rally and X Games and so on. And it's such a great brand. I'm so proud to be with them. And so they started taking the brand ambassadors down to the Baja 1000 to run the Baja Challenge class. And we started having a lot of fun doing that, and then I got really, really into it all. And since then, I've gotten more and more into off-road racing. And it turns out it's like overlapping circles of people. A lot of the same idiots are in both sports. So, and some great friendships. I mean, just standing here for a few minutes, I saw a dozen old friends from different things. Some of my old drift crew chief is here, and guys that we've known from X Games and things. So it's just the same bunch of guys doing a slightly different thing.
Yeah, that's one of those things. I mean, you've been around, done it all, and it's pretty cool. I mean, to rally, off-road, little drifting, X Games. I mean, it's been kind of cool to for you to be able to, participate in all these different motorsports, right?
Yeah, totally. And it's like I'm interested in both the differences, though, and the similarities. Like, I think it's very interesting how off-road guys have picked up a lot of things from rally now. Armin Schwartz came over and started running different kinds of notes, and I think you're seeing more guys. You could tell me better than I can tell you, but I've had off-road teams ask me how to develop their note system, because in rally, I heard you and Cam talking earlier, there's still classes here where you're running solo or if you're on a bike or if you're in a buggy. But with us in rally, we rely so heavily on the co-driver. It's interesting that there are things that you can learn from rally to, I think, make a two-person off-road team a lot faster. And I think a lot of teams are tapping into that now. But in terms of, differences, I can take a car at 120 miles an hour, a production-based car, and put it within because of the way it's designed, put it within an inch or two of where I want it to go. What I've done with off-road rigs in a couple of desert races and some short course I did, it's a lot scarier for me, because for what the compromises you have to make to get all the travel and soak up the bumps, you give up the kind of exact handling that we have on the rally cars. So I think it's a terrific challenge.
Yeah. Well, and I know, you obviously weather here a little bit better than last time I saw you, right? We were up at
yeah.
I keep wanting to call it the Snowdrift Rally.
Yeah. But
it's normally it's a gravel rally. I keep mistakenly calling it Snowdrift, but obviously we're talking about 100-acre wood. But it's got to be a little bit different weather here, huh?
Well, one of the things that we deal with in rally all the time is incredibly different conditions, like huge difference in conditions. So at the beginning of the year, it might be minus 20 at the Snowdrift Rally, and then we can be up in Maine, and it'll be 95 degrees ambient, and we'll get 130 degrees in the car, because we don't have open cockpits like some of the rigs have here. It gets really hot in the car. And that's one of the great challenges of rally, and really fun. So you're exactly right. We were up in Missouri a couple of weeks ago, and it's usually a gravel rally, but they had a huge dump of snow, a big ice storm, and it was really disastrous. I also had fun. I was up at the Frozen Rush, Red Bull Frozen Rush up in Maine last month and so on, and to see some of our friends, RJ and Bryce and Rob McCachran up there. Driving on snow, some of them for the first time. I don't think RJ had ever stepped on snow, and seeing how they came to grips literally with the grip was really interesting. And of course, BF Goodrich made the big gnarly tires for it, so they had a huge advantage. But it was interesting to see the off-road guys take on stuff that's more normal for rally people to do.
Yeah. Yeah, and you Canadians are both laughing because you guys live in snow most of the year, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I've gotten soft. Where I grew up in Alberta, Canada, if it was minus 40, they'd close school, but we'd go outside snowmobiling all day.
Yeah.
All day,
yeah.
and not even think of it.
They don't even close school anymore, and we are, I'm from Winnipeg.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Winterpeg. But it's been, minus 46 with wind chills all winter. It's been a really rough winter, but no snow.
Right.
We haven't had any snow. So
you guys in Winnipeg, you have 2 seasons, right? You have ice and mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. Give blood, come to Winnipeg.
But do you live here now, or you live in?
No, I'm still in Winnipeg.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I'm kind of,
so
I live in the airport, I'd like to say.
Yeah, it's a lovely people, nice place, lots of Scandinavians, which is where lots of the beauties come from. But my problem now, I moved to LA 5 years ago now to host a TV show, and now when it's like 60 degrees, I'm frozen. I'm done. I am done with the cold.
I climatize really easy as well. So when I come down here and it's a little bit cold, I'm like, well, I was just in the sun yesterday, so I'm cold now.
But Jim, I want to ask you, like sort of in the form of Cam interviewing you, I want to ask you a question. You now have gotten into rallycross and rally, and you're from an off-road background.
Yeah.
But do you see the similarities and the differences, or what do you think? I mean, how can we help each other out? It's like
lots of, a lot of the people involved are the same players. You know, a lot of crossover. I know. I've had the opportunity to test some lights cars with Olsberg, and obviously I've spent a ton of time at rally schools at Dirtfish, and I don't want to say that you're a Team O'Neill guy, but Tim's a great friend of mine as well. You know, but I think I think you can send an off-road driver to whether it be Dirtfish or to Team O'Neill, and they're going to learn something. I think rally guys can learn a lot from the desert guys. I think there's a lot of crossover. I'd love for there to be somehow a door open where, whether it be arrive and drive programs, and I know Tim's been great about that with Steve LaRosa coming over from the desert side.
Yep.
But I'd like the desert side to open up to some of the rally guys more and open the doors to get, I know Higgins has told me I want to drive an off-road truck, and it'd be nice for guys to be able to go back and forth, once or twice a year and just see how the other side lives,
I totally agree. I tell you, they're hugely different skill sets. I found this when I was drifting also and doing rally and then doing Pikes Peak and stuff, which is a grip event now and so on, that you always learn something from everything you do. You might have to take a little time to reset the chip in your head because the handling's a little different, or you're going from rear drive to all drive or whatever. But I think that any driving is great, and you find somebody like David Higgins would be, I think, a formidable guy off-road. He's a smart guy. Travis Pastrana did some off-road with very varied consequences. He's a terrific driver. He's a natural at almost everything, but he had some crashes and so on. He had them in rally when he started too. But I think that there is a great opportunity for crossover. I also think that it's really interesting what you're doing with the radio show, crossing over and dealing with both types of sports. I mean, ultimately, it's a pretty small community in America. All the sort of dirt racing, all kinds of racing, right? And we see a lot of the same people all the time. You got to figure out how to activate it for everybody. And I think one of the interesting things about this event being associated with Las Vegas and the Mint and now with Mad Media is it's a very well-activated event, and you're helping out with that, right?
Yeah.
We have to figure that out in rally more too, and again, you're helping with that, helping to bring the message out. But we can't be the only people following what we're doing around here. We got to bring in not just the sponsors, but the general public and people who can get into it. And rally has a special challenge because it's not really a North American sport. It's originally a European sport, whereas desert racing is like the quintessential Southwest American sport, right? And so we have to sell the sport all the time. But the reason that I got into rally and the reason that I love off-road too is the adventure is the same. I mean, you're out there in the middle of the night and you've broken a hub and you have to take 2 studs out of one hub to put it in the other one or something. That's what's awesome about all this kind of racing and the challenge. And I'd like to see more of us do that.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that's what I've tried to do is create some synergies and get people interested in the other. And I think, I think there is a lot of interest. But like you said, at the end of the day, we need to get the outside audience involved too, and that's the way that we're going to grow both the sports.
I think it's great that Martelli and Mad Media are involved here too, because it really helps grow that out. And I got my big hopes that it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And I hope that for rally too. We have to find solutions.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's all racing. We're all just the same idiots.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I appreciate you stopping by ACP, and hope you enjoy time on Fremont. You're going to be out at the race tomorrow.
I'm going to be a little bit. I got another commitment in LA on the weekend, but I'm lucky that I get to do for my racing sins. I get to do some stunt driving and stuff now too. So I got some setting up to do for that. But I'm really thrilled to be here. Thrilled to see so many people, and thanks for having me on. Good luck.
All right, thanks a lot.
Take care.
All right, as Andrew Comrie Picard. And we're going to catch up with another driver just in 1 second here. Hold on 1 minute, Amy. I'm going to flip off the air. I'm going to let you wing it for about 20 seconds.
Awesome. There's Renner. Get him down here.
All right, I am back. We're going to grab Mark Burnett here for an interview. He's doing some freestyle motocross shows down here, and grab Mark Burnett, my General Tire Polaris RZR teammate here, all decked out in his Monster Energy. How's the things going down on the end of the street? You boys are throwing down some freestyle motocross.
Wow, it's been a rough day today.
Really?
Because, we came here like, there's going to be 300 feet. It went down to 250, then 240. And I got semis on the front, semis on the back. I mean, the guys are like on the brakes, barely stopping, in the wind, a crosswind.
Yes.
So it's been a little stressful for me today, for sure. But we didn't even get going until 11:30. That was our time we were supposed to go, and we went right off almost the same time. And it's been definitely stressful. But hopefully ready for the race. I'm pretty excited about that. So how are you guys doing?
Doing good, man. Mark Burnett, Ami Houde. Amy, Mark Burnett.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'm on the two-wheel side of things.
Yeah,
so.
she's a professional motocross racer, so.
Good. There we go.
Yeah.
That's my background. I'm good at that.
Awesome.
I watch you, though.
Yeah, Mark, we got him on the four-wheel side now, running Polaris RZR. Started out in trucks, though. And, how's everything looking, man? UTV World Championship obviously didn't go the way you wanted it to.
No, it didn't go very well. We can get out there and do well in the beginning, but I broke 6 belts in 100 miles. So you can see the day didn't go very well for me. But, we're learning. We're still learning the car. It's not the Polaris. Maybe if I ran the stock stuff on there, the factory stuff, it'd probably be fine. But I always like to change things, and now I'm going to have to go back to what it's working for the whole thing and try to start from the scratch again and start from the beginning.
Yeah. Well, looking at the Mint 400, you guys second place here last year, right?
Yep.
You know what it takes to run up front here. I mean, what's it going to take tomorrow to walk away with this? I mean, we just talked with Brandon Sims, another Polaris RZR driver. I mean, you guys are 50-plus deep. I mean, that's a stacked field.
It is a stacked field, and Brandon, he's one of the new kids out there, killing it, good guy out there, and you got Johnny Engel. I'm looking to do well tomorrow. We did a lot of testing with factory Polaris, and I couldn't help, they couldn't they got everything dialed in. I couldn't do it without them. They've been great to me when I went down and tested with them, and Fox suspension. So everything's been really good. So I think the car is really good. So I hopefully be running, with them. I'm starting 25th, so it's not that bad. But it's a long day. You're going to have 3 laps out there, 390 miles. Half the cars aren't going to finish, that's for sure. And the course out there, it's going to be rough. I mean, it's going to be rough as heck. And hopefully we don't get in your guys' way and you guys hit us. I don't want to, the third lap is going to definitely be tight for us to be out there.
Yeah.
It's going to be scary.
Yeah,
for
sure. You guys are, you guys' car is going to be wounded trying to get to the finish, and they let all of us out with fresh trophy trucks and 800 horsepower. And, I think it's scary for you. It's scary for us. I think everybody's aware of it. So I think there's going to be a lot of caution on both sides,
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I hope they're just watching out. I got hit last year at the Vegas Torino by Terrible Herbst, and we were off the course. We moved out of their way, and he just followed the blue light, couldn't see in the dust, and went off the course 40 yards or so and hit us. Landed up on top of us, blew the shock out, caught on fire. It was pretty crazy, so I definitely don't want to be in front of you guys. I know how to take some trucks, and believe me, if I was a truck driver, I'd get pissed off too with the UTV guys in front, those little golf cart guys in the way there.
But you say that, but I got to tell you, you guys are dialed. I mean, you got one of the top UTV programs.
We do.
And you guys have won a lot of races in the past year. Switching over to Polaris, it's going to be a good race tomorrow, man. I'm excited. This is one of the storylines, the UTV race, the one I'm interested in, because whoever breaks through and wins, I mean, it's going to be a big one with this many entries.
It is going to be really big, and like I said, it's a new course again, a little bit different. And the Martelli brothers did a great job all around. Just this whole thing right here. Every year it seems to getting bigger and bigger. It feels like back in the 70s and the 80s, like this is how it used to be, and it's back to where it is, and it's awesome to be here in Vegas to see this whole thing go down.
Yeah. Well, you are definitely a busy man. Obviously, racing this weekend. You got the freestyle motocross show going on. Who do we have down there jumping for you guys?
Well, Bryce Hudson. He's a step-up gold medalist and a silver medalist. We also got Dustin Miller. Been around forever. He's an OG of freestyle. He has multi-medalist. He's a silver and bronze medalist too. And they got Jeff Griffin. He's a good new kid out there, and he's won some gold medals in China and stuff like that. But we have a really good crew, solid out there. We're giving away stuff too down there. There's a lot of people and stuff down there. We're giving a lot of product and stuff away. Come on down if anybody can hear us on
What
the show there.
time are your shows?
Last one, 2:30.
2:30?
Yeah.
I can't miss it. I got to go.
As soon as we get off air here, we'll have to bust down there and check it out.
Yeah, it's just come down there, check it out. Hopefully the wind is permitting. The wind's really gnarly right now. So
Vegas, right?
I know. It's up and down. Where we were last year was a little better because the building blocked it.
Oh, okay.
But, we're full-blown stressed right now. We just got to get done here, then go and get set up for the race.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I see Renner hanging around. You should have grabbed his ass and sent him on a bike, right?
He said to me, he goes, these guys are crazy. I can't. I wouldn't be jumping in this because the wind and the setup. It was very tight. It's very, very tight. And they're jumping over a bus too. My tour bus, they jump over it. So it's pretty crazy. You know what I mean? The fans love it down there though. But then they're signing autographs too. So if anybody can hear us, come down, get an autograph.
What are the shows you got lined up this year? I know you guys are on the road like over 100 shows a year, right?
Over 100 shows. The FreestyleMX.com tour. We've been doing it for 19 years. I started freestyle motocross right here in Vegas. We did the first show ever with Travis Pastrana, Brian Deegan, Clifford Atante. You know, some of the big names out there that, you know, were big in the OG world. So, you know, we have shows at Daytona, NASCAR, IRL. There's all kinds of different ones we're doing. Arenas, concerts. We do some really cool concert ones. And some redneck ones out in the middle of nowhere, which is awesome.
Those guys always get the best fans, right?
Best fans. When they're on moonshine, they're all good to go. You ever had real moonshine? Let me tell you.
Redbud.
Yeah, that's a gnarly day the next morning. It's a brutal deal. So, but
we call it home brew back at home.
Home brew. Okay.
Yeah.
So where are you from?
Canada.
Canada.
Yes.
Okay. What part of Canada?
Manitoba, right above Minnesota.
Okay. You know they got some
the flat prairies.
Yeah, there's some freestyle guys out there.
Yeah, we have Josh Penner.
Chris Guaziak, old freestyle rider, has been doing freestyle out there forever. He was an OG guy, started on my tour. Pretty much everybody's ridden my tour except Travis, and he's the only one. He comes out, does autographs when he's our sponsors and stuff, but he hasn't ridden it. But everybody else pretty much ridden the tour and been on the road with us. And it gets crazy, you know, with 10 guys and, you know, 3 tour buses down there. I'm sure you know. She's a motocross girl, so, I mean, she sees a weird, you know, the motocross guys. They're kind of a little freaky out there, you know. So, and she's just staying quiet right now.
Yeah, she's
like,
no comment.
No comment.
She's like, I could throw so many people under the bus right now.
So many people. Are you all ready to go?
Yeah, we're all ready. We're dialed. Got the, you know, obviously we rolled at Parker, got the truck back. We got it literally Wednesday night, got it back dialed in, and finished up 11:30 Wednesday night. Tested the truck in qualifying. It's good to go, though, and we're at the Mint 400. Life is good, my friend.
Nice. Well, that's good to go. You know, it doesn't matter where you pretty much start. At the end of the day, where you're at. That's all that matters.
There's so much attrition. You just got to be there at the end.
You got to be here. That's for sure.
So, yeah, I know you're busy. You got a show kicking off, but I appreciate it, my friend, and good luck out there tomorrow.
I will. Thanks so much. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Nice
seeing you guys again.
All right, that was Mark Burnett, FreestyleMotocross.com. Also, Polaris RZR. We got CJ Hutchins. We're going to snag here, another General Tire athlete. And, we'll let CJ get all mic'd up here. But Fremont kicking off, you know, it's full swing right now. Herps are rolling by. And, man, it's definitely been a cool day. And CJ Hutchins grabbing the mic here. And how's your day been, CJ, man? This is great.
It's been a long week for our Hutchins Motorsports team, but my guys have worked through the problems we've had this week, and we're ready to go.
All right. How did qualifying go for you guys?
It was good, you know. I'm always a little timid on the short course track. I don't want to spin out, and you spin out in the short course track, and you're starting in the back. So I was probably a little too cautious through there. Ended up 29th, which I'm still good with. All the really fast guys are in front of us, and still in front of the majority of the field. So I think we're in a good starting spot for this race.
Awesome. So, you know, heading into this race, obviously this is the big one, you know, for us, you know, guys running Best in the Desert. This is one you want to win. I mean, you know, Class 1 or Class 1500, I mean, you guys got a stacked field at this one. I mean, what's it going to take to walk away with the win there?
Oh, yeah, you know, definitely this race brings out the best of the best. All the fastest drivers are here from really all the classes. In these unlimited classes, these guys are pushing so hard and going so fast. Attrition's really going to be a factor out there. So many people try to drive this race like a sprint race, and it's really not a sprint race. So I'm just going to go out there and run my pace, and I think I know the pace that'll win this thing. So,
yeah, for sure. It's definitely going to be wild. I mean, that course, you know, how do you feel about the course change? We've been talking about that, going from 4 laps to 3, but longer laps this go-around, adding some, you know, obviously the short course and some different, you know, stuff in there. How do you feel about the course? Going to fit your driving style better or worse, or does it matter?
I don't think it'll matter too much. The new section out at Prim I'm pretty familiar with from racing with another organization that races out there. So I'm pretty familiar with that area as well. The majority of the course is the same from last year, so I feel good about the course. This is my backyard. I've been riding out here since I was 5 years old, so I'm pretty comfortable with the course.
Yeah, got all the rocks dialed in and know where they're at in the bad spots, right?
Oh, yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, this course, it definitely changes over the course of the day, and you never know what it's going to throw at you later on in lap 2 or 3, right?
Right, definitely. Last year, the first lap was pretty smooth for us. Casey pretty much blades the whole course, so the limited guys can get through it in a timely manner. So Last year the course was really smooth the first lap, so I'm expecting the same thing. First lap will be smooth, and the second and third lap will be absolutely horrible.
That's it's probably pretty much what to expect. So, talk about the car. You guys saying you're having problems, but you're all dialed in now, right?
Oh yeah, I had a little oops on Tuesday night out testing the lights and put her on the roof. So my first roll in 12 years. So it happened
3 days before an event, right?
Unfortunately,
it wasn't at the race, though.
Yeah,
right?
unfortunately, it was a little close to the race, but my guys got a new roof on it, and we got her all prettied up. Still made it to the parade and everything the next day.
Oh, nice.
Got to finish up the light bar tonight, and we'll be ready to go.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you stopping by. I know you're busy today, bouncing around, doing some stuff with General Tire, I think, right?
Oh, yeah. I've been running all over this place today, so it's been busy.
Well, thanks for stopping by, buddy, and good luck out there tomorrow.
Thanks
and
for
hopefully we
having me.
can bring one in for General Tire in Class 1500, right?
Yeah, most definitely. Good
all
luck
right,
to
take
you
it
too.
easy, CJ. All right, CJ Hutchins stopping by. This is Jim Beaver and Ami Houde. We're hanging out. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to wrap things up here from the 2015 Polaris RZR Mint 400 on Fremont Street. I'm Polaris driver Jim Beaver. I host the Down and Dirty radio show, travel the country announcing motorsports events, and I compete against some of the toughest drivers in the world in my number 15 trick truck in the Best in the Desert Championship. I know what it takes to survive Baja and races like the Mint 400 or Vegas to Reno, and that is reliability. When I choose to train, pre-run, or just take my family out to the desert or dunes on the weekend, I trust Polaris RZR products exclusively. I need the absolute best performing vehicles that I know will get me back safe, fast, and without any problems. The only vehicle on the market that I know will do this is the Polaris RZR. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world driving the Polaris RZR. Check out the full lineup of Polaris RZR vehicles at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Baja, check. King of the Hammers, check. Crandon, check. The Mint 400, check. Only one wheel company can say they have dominated the deserts and rocks of the Southwest to the mud and carnage of the big house at Crandon, and that company is KMC Wheels. KMC Wheels has won them all with the help of elite drivers like Travis Pastrana, Ricky Johnson, Bryce Menzies, Carl Renazetter, and Lauren Healy, who all rely on the XD Series from KMC Wheels to get them to the finish line and on top of the podium. Check out KMC Wheels and their full line of XD Series wheels at KMCWheels.com or on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KMC Wheels. KMC Wheels, like no other.
Rigid Industries is the original and #1 LED light bar manufacturer in the world. Torture tested by some of the best drivers in motorsports. Rigid LED lighting products use cutting-edge technology and can stand up to the harshest conditions Mother Nature can dish out. Designed, engineered, and assembled in the United States, Rigid LED lighting is the only choice for your off-road vehicle or boat. Find out more information on the entire line of Rigid Industries LED lighting products at www.rigidindustries.com.
Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle, Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZs, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dirtfish Rally. Looking to upgrade the brake system on your race car, pre-runner, or weekend toy? Jmar Performance Brake Systems has you covered. An industry leader in performance braking systems, Jmar can outfit your vehicle with the highest quality American-made calipers, rotors, master cylinders, hubs, turning brakes, and shifters for Volkswagens to trophy trucks and everything in between. For more information and their full product line, visit Jmar on the web at jmarperformance.com or follow them on Instagram and Twitter at Jmar Brakes.
I'm Polaris rider Levi LaValle, and I choose Polaris just because they have the best quality, highest performing, most fun machines out there.
Only one company has taken Levi LaValle to 10 X Games medals, snowcross championships, a double backflip, and a world record long jump of 412 feet across the San Diego Harbor on New Year's Eve, and that company is Polaris. Whether it's dominating the X Games, racing a stock Polaris RZR XP1000 in the Terracross Championship, or just hitting the trail on the weekend, for over 20 years, Levi has relied on the same quality Polaris vehicles and products you can purchase at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of action sports legend Levi LaValle and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR.
And everybody wants to stay someplace else.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. We're here at the 2015 Polaris RZR Mint 400 on Fremont Street. My partner in crime, Ami Houde, should be back in just a minute. She stepped out to get some cough drops. But we're standing here with supposed to be Brandon Schuler. We got Bill Schuler filling in. So how's everything going, Bill? You guys are defending champs here, man. So this has got to be a big deal.
Yeah, last year was actually our first Mint 400 win, and Brandon really he came alive last year, and he did a great job bringing it to the finish and getting the win last year. And he's excited to try and defend, but we don't have a real good starting position, so we got our work cut out for us this year.
Yeah, I got to tell you guys, starting positions haven't been good to you this year. UTV World Championship in the back, Mint 400, not so good. I mean, the tide's got to turn here at some point, right?
I'm figuring that black cloud can only stay in one place for so long, and yeah, I'm hoping that it does turn. And Brandon's pretty good in the dust. He's pretty good at making passes. He's been doing this for a long time, so he'll do okay. But it is still a disadvantage starting behind. The more cars you start behind, the rougher the course is, and it makes it harder.
Yeah, it definitely does. I mean, talk about this. How hard it is to get a win in pro UTV now. I mean, it started out with just a few teams, and you guys have been there from the start. But I mean, this thing's grown. I mean, over 50 teams at this one. Just the sheer numbers that makes it difficult to win.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I mean, we've been doing it since we used to try and recruit to get 12 and 15 cars in our field, and now I think there's 63 UTVs here. Again, we're the largest class, which only proves the growth of the sport and what Polaris is doing, which is outstanding, and backing the racers and getting them to come out and race, and we're real proud of that. But you're absolutely right in that it is harder to get a win now. I mean, you got guys. Everybody out here has got a good machine, and there's a lot of good teams that really got their act together. So you got to be on your A game. It used to be you could break down and have a couple problems and still be on the podium. Not anymore. I mean, you have to be. You pretty much got to have a flawless race to be on the podium anymore.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely become that. It's just a perfect race with that many. And you throw in that many entries is tough. You throw in a course this brutal in it makes it even tougher.
Yeah, and it also doesn't help us to, the fact is, we have the smallest tires and the smallest motors, and we're starting behind about, if I counted right, about 80 other cars in multiple classes that are starting the course in front of us. So tomorrow's going to be a rough day for sure.
Yeah, well, and talk about the technology in UTVs. I mean, started out and, you relatively stock at one point that we're racing, in desert, but now, you guys it's full-blown race cars.
Oh, yeah, people look at them and, there's still a lot of people that think this is kind of a weekend hobby car, but yeah, these cars are built on a platform that's equivalent to any other race car out here. They're full chromoly chassis. We spend hours and hours tuning our shocks. We run the same shock technology as most of the the big race cars out here. Everything that we do to these cars, we scrutinize weight with every single part, performance with every part, strength. Yeah, these are truly race cars that we're racing here. This isn't just an off the showroom type car. Although we do use a lot of stock parts still.
Yeah, it's I don't know, just me looking in. I mean, you guys have been pillars of the UTV racing community since the start, and it's got to be pretty gratifying to see you guys. I mean, you guys at one point had a line of razors from Polaris, the Jagged X edition. So you guys, it's got to be cool to see the evolution of this sport.
Oh, absolutely. We'd love to see another razor, another Jagged X razor come down the line, but I can't say that will or won't ever happen. But that made us real proud when they decided they want to do that. And we were involved in the design of that vehicle and kind of what it had, and the types of options that people wanted. And we'd love to do it again, that's for sure, especially now with the focus on desert racing as thick as it is now.
Yeah. So, talk about Polaris. I mean, obviously you guys have a very close relationship with Polaris. You've seen it, you've seen, the brand grow, 800s, 900s, now at the thousands. I mean, got to get you excited to see what's up next for them, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, they seem to they just seem to keep raising the bar, as things go, and they keep all the other manufacturers on their toes too. And everybody seems to be coming to the table with something new every year anymore. It used to be every couple years, but now it seems like every year, and even for Polaris, it's mid-year introductions on various different models. And it is a big wonder as to what's going to come down the pipe here. We don't know for sure, but I'm sure they got something in store for us.
All right, we're taking a photo op again here. Seems like we got a lot of photo ops here, but I mean, you guys obviously Brandon dialed in. Is he doing the whole race tomorrow, or you swapping out?
Yeah, actually, we've had to do a little change up on roster here. Brandon and Blake will still be in the car, but they're going to be. They'll be in the car from start to finish, but unfortunately, Craig Scanlon, who normally drives our 1931 car here, is ill and is not going to be able to make the race, and so unfortunately, he's not going to be able to be here. But Keith, his co-driver, is going to take over the steering wheel, and we've got Mike West stepping back in, raced with us for a couple years. He's going to be in the co-driver seat with Keith, and they got a great starting position. I think they're 56th. So, again, they got their work cut out for them too. But, Keith's a great driver, and he spent a lot of time on the track. He's raced Class 1 cars and trophy trucks both, and so he's got a lot of experience, and they'll pick their way through, I'm sure, and hopefully put down a good finish.
Awesome. Well, good luck out there tomorrow. I know you guys are busy. Obviously, Brandon's still getting the car dialed in. That's why he's not here, but definitely pass on my wishes to him, and hopefully we'll see you at the finish line tomorrow.
Thank you very much, and we love what you guys are doing. It's great that you guys are getting the word out here, and I think this class is going to keep growing and growing. So, again, thank you very much. All
right. Thanks a lot, Bill. Take it easy, my friend. All right. Well, that was It was Bill Schuler with Jagged X Racing, Brandon's dad. Brandon occupied getting the car all inspected and teched and couldn't be here, but no, he definitely wanted to be. But yeah, we're dialing things down. About 10 minutes left. We're going to see if we can get a hold of Ronnie Renner. He's running around here.
Get over here.
I know. There he is. We're getting Ronnie Renner over here. We had some good times with him last night.
Faster.
You had. Yeah. There we go.
There we go.
There we go. There's Ronnie Renner.
We got 10 minutes because we got to be down to watch the freestyle show.
Yeah.
Dead sailor.
I tried to get Mark to put you in the freestyle show, and he's like, Renner would have nothing to do with it today with the conditions.
Too old for that.
Too old for that? I know you got an
up.
X Games invite. What are you talking about, too old for that?
Seen my world, enjoyed my stay on those ramps.
So are you having fun here downtown Las Vegas at the Mint?
It's all right.
400?
Yeah, some, tough company to hang with, but yeah, a little
squirrely
from time to time.
Do you want to be out there?
Yeah, not in the wind, really. I hate jumping in the wind.
No, racing.
Racing, yeah. That's why I'm here. I'm going to scope it out and see what it's all about.
Get a plan dialed in, right?
Something like that, yeah. I'm going to come in swinging next year.
Yeah.
As I know me, I'd show up, try to rally hard in the dust and probably cartwheel, do a front flip, something. Not how I want to do my first, my first gig.
You make a good viral video, I'm sure, right?
Yeah. Well, I always crash and nobody gets it on video, so I'd be like
the ups and downs of Ronnie Renner.
That is where I would crash at the least expected spot for sure.
Yeah, there'd be a dozen photographers and you'd go around a mountain and then you'd crash.
Sounds about right. Yep.
My dad always said if you're gonna crash, at least make it look good. So.
Yeah, that's right. My dad said if you can't ride good, you might as well look good. So wear clean gear and good graphics.
Yeah. So what's the plans for you this year? Obviously, you got this deal with Polaris. You're still doing a lot of the free ride stuff. I mean, what's your plans for Ronnie Renner in 2015?
Just like my little company has loose program, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, free ride everything. That's the philosophy I'm sticking to. Mountain bikes, dirt bikes. Dirt bikes are still the lifeblood. I think a motorcycle is the baddest to the bone thing you can do.
Yeah.
Keep that at the forefront, center of attention. And Polaris is nuts, man. These things are like mini trophy trucks, and I think it's a great tool to learn and get myself here, 3 to 5 year plan of getting out to the big show.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, I know one of the guys behind X Games kind of in charge of events and stuff, and I was pitching to him like a trophy truck long jump this past year, right? They didn't buy into it. But I'm thinking, you got guys like you, obviously, RJ, Levi now, and getting into the Razor thing, and obviously I would love to be in the X Games at some point in something, right? I'm thinking we need to put together a Razor long jump, right?
Oh,
and
God.
destroy RJ's record, right?
Sounds like trouble.
I know the Godfreys. I was talking with Tanner Godfrey, and Tanner's like, I'm in because he's going. He's basically trying to attack the record here in the next month or something. And you get the Godfreys involved, and shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
But
I'm OG Nitro Circus, man. I knew when to hold them and fold them. I got out of there. I still love them all, but I'm like, you guys are nuts, man. I don't want to be a statistic.
Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah, I think your days are numbered when you're on that crew, right?
Yeah, I don't want to sound like a total wuss or nothing. I just like to kind of do my own thing and do things that are different and stand out, and that's where I think this kind of four-wheel free ride concept is cool for a couple of years. It's going to get some good media. I know how to do, edits and video, like kind of how the structure is and infrastructure with that. So I think I can bring the same thing that I've done with Free Ride Moto to four wheels. And, knowing me, I'll get bored and want more horsepower and, want to race. Something about being a motocross racer from back in the day, you just have that want to go out there and kick some ass.
Yep.
Yeah.
So now you have like 25 children. So, are you taming
that I
down
know of.
a little bit, or how the gears have to change now because
Is
you
it
got
up
a
to
family?
25?
I thought so. Yeah, maybe
Dang
26.
Well, Vegas, I thought Vegas didn't count. 4 kids, man. It's nuts.
That's a lot.
15, 12, 5, which my 5-year-old's my only girl, and I couldn't handle another one. Like that. Whoa.
My daughter's 6. Dude, I'm feeling you.
Oh, come on. We're not that bad.
Mine's 5 going on like 25, man. She knows it all, and she's usually pretty right. Puts me straight, runs the show, and it's awesome, though.
She
Cause
knows her Ricky Bobby quotes, too.
Yeah. Every grace.
That's awesome.
So I got her little driving suit and just trying to, get her down the right path, and she loves it, man. She's at the Razor Crazy Cart doing e-brakes, and I'm proud of the little squirt. Too bad she's like a tiny. She can't even touch the pedals on anything. I got to rig everything up.
Yeah, my first bike, I had big old training wheels on it, and my dad souped
That's
up.
it's my daughter. She's got a CRF 50, and it's got the training wheels on there, and she wants me to rip them off, and she's about time to pull the things off and just let her go have at it and see how she does.
Well, you put them up a little bit so that.
No, that's it. She's getting, it's around the corner. She used them a little bit. She needs,
Here's the deal.
see.
You got to go Strider. Strider is the best tool. Push bikes where the kids don't rely on the training wheels.
Yeah.
But like my little dude, I forgot about Jet. Jet's my 2-year-old little boy. I didn't get to him. Chloe stole the show once again. But little dude Jet, you know what happened with this kid? I was like, 4 kids, I can't believe it. I got a 4th kid coming. Am I gonna pay attention to him, or is it am I gonna be numb to this? And I swear, watching all the kids interact, and my older boys teaching him how to ride, and he's a special little dude. So, and he's more into moto than any kid I've had. So,
That's awesome.
I got hope to be a mini dad one day.
Yeah. He'll be the one latched on anytime. I'm going riding. He's gonna be there with you, right?
Oh yeah, him or Chloe. I'm gonna be a terrible mini dad with Chloe because she's just gonna tell me the way it is.
Yeah. Dad, we are going riding, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna follow Deegan in the motor dad.
Yeah.
Gosh, he's funny.
Nice. Well, what do you think of the Mint 400 so far? You getting your plans dialed in for next year, or what's going on here?
I've just realized that I should sell my house, move into a single wide trailer somewhere, and put all the money into this because, just seeing the cars all roll by here at Tech Inspection or whatever it's called, I don't know.
Yeah.
So many words that I don't even know.
Yeah, different lingo completely.
Yeah, I'm so out of my element. They're talking about suspension parts and stuff, and I'm all, what? Huh?
Yeah.
Sway bar? Yeah. Okie dokie.
Well, I got to tell you, you got a pretty. I got a 4-seat coming from Polaris, and I'm looking at yours, trying to figure out how I want to dial mine in.
Send it to SDR, dude. They took great care of me on this. I didn't really have to even give any feedback. They just said, trust us. And both cars, 2-seater and the 4-seater, turned out wicked. I could probably race them. I don't know if they're within the rule book. This one's got a 4-seater's got a turbo. 2-seater's got a little extra something in the tank. So probably not even spec for anything. So I just take it to the dunes, take it to the desert, and jump things, blow up corners.
So what's the plans with Polaris this year? You going to be at the Camp Razors, East and West?
That's right, yeah.
Nice, because I know I'm dialed in for East and West too.
Cool.
So we're going to have some fun.
You going to do the show out there too?
We're going to be doing the radio show. I know I'll have my Razor out there, be doing some riding and stuff. And I told part of my contract with Polaris is I said I've got to be in the pro celebrity race. I said because that's the most fun you're going to have. I was out there, I've been at the past couple of Camp Razors, but now I'm officially part of the Polaris family. So now I get to be in there. And I watched you guys at Glamis this year, you and Pastrana and Levi. It was absolutely hilarious.
I won at Brimstone, so you're going to have to come take the champ down there.
Right.
But the freaking Rochambeau start at Glamis, I suck at Rochambeau. How can you suck at Rochambeau? I don't know, but I do. Ended up on the back gate and almost got lapped. That was sad. I cried myself to sleep that night.
It was hilarious. It was such a haggard track too. It was so bad.
Freaking landmines.
Pastrana's got his head sticking out of the top of the roll cage because he's so tall. And
if you do the radio show, you might have to bring a translator because some of those rednecks, you're like, what? Hey, man, go to the back hill right there and go to the mud hole. It's pretty bad. Yeah. But it's a really, it's something that opened my mind to this whole, beyond Southern California and desert life. You drive out there, and it was a blast. I thought I'm going to get bored of putting around trails, and we were just ripping these trails at night, and it was a whole different kind of drive.
Sal Masakela cruising by. What's up, bro?
That guy.
Yeah, Sal Masakela in the house. Got Ronnie Renner. What's happening, brother?
Get you some, dude. Yeah.
Grab a headset real quick. We're winding things down.
Come say
I got to go to Tech Inspection.
All right. We'll catch up with you, buddy.
All right. I'll catch
See
you
you racing.
Dude.
It's on.
All right.
Yes.
All 4 wheels.
What do we got you in this year, though? You got to tell us. Are you back in the the challenge car?
Yeah,
Odyssey?
challenge car, yeah.
All right. Good luck tomorrow, bro.
Slow and go.
Get her done. You racing? Nope.
All right. Take it easy, Sal.
And I'm not going to be your mechanic either because that car's going to probably need some work.
Sal, he's a good cat, man. He's one. He came out last year. They threw him in one of those Odyssey cars for a lap, and he got bit by the bug hard, man. I had him on air the Monday afterwards, and he's like, "I'm in." He was like you. I'm selling the house. I'm getting rid of everything. Let's go off road racing.
I haven't even drove it yet. I'm just seeing these Class 1 cars, talking to some of the builders and seeing how passionate everybody is about it. It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's the cop's car.
It just reminds me, moto, you got only so many options. The bikes are all great. KTM's the best, of course. Let's just face it. But
Honda
no, there's just only so much you can do to a bike, and these people are building $1 million cars from the ground up. I mean, you got a trophy truck, it's just insanity. A lot of unsung hours in the garage.
Yeah, that's it, man. Lots of lots of work that go into getting here, that people don't realize, especially like me. I've said it earlier today, but, I rolled the truck 4 weeks ago, and that thing was just it was a yard sale, and here it is, with a brand new wrap here at the Mint, and it was a lot of long nights for my guys. I give them credit. They're the reason I'm here. It's not me.
Yeah, I noticed that. I come from this selfish bastard sport where, at the high level of Supercross, you got a team behind you and this and that. But my program, dude, it's me in the garage, me as the manager, and it's hard to let go sometimes. So you got to right now, if I'm going to do this, full time one day, I got to start kind of building a team. And these are guys you got to hang with and trust in, and your life's on the line just like a dirt bike, really.
Yeah. Well, that's where I'm lucky. Guys like me. I mean, I travel. It's at a race here, race there, and I know that I'm gone on a weekend. They're still at the shop wrenching, and it's going to be, it's going to be done. And I'm lucky that I got guys like that.
Yeah, definitely. Got to crack that whip.
Yeah. Most of the time they're cracking it on me, I'll tell you. So
I have a feeling there's going to be a few damn it renters. Yeah. Did you really have to do that? I thought I did. Going to be a lot of bad decision making going on.
Well, it's such as life, though, right?
Like last night. Vegas.
Well,
what?
I think we should go check out the freestyle show.
Yeah, we got to wind things down here. We're about 2 minutes over time, and I'm sure I'll get slapped on the hand for that, but such is life. We're here with Ronnie Renner, Ami Houde. We're wrapping things up from the Polaris RZR booth at the Polaris RZR 2015 Mint 400. Been great, Amy. Been great, Ronnie. And I think we're going to go take in some freestyle motocross down the end of the road.
Thanks for having me again, and we got to go check this, this
same
event
here.
out.
All right,
fun to watch
guys.
freestyle.
All right, we got to give a big shout out to all our partners. Obviously, Polaris RZR, General Tire, KMC Wheels, Rigid Industries Lighting, Wakeboard Island, also Jamar Performance Brake, Intense Tees. And all the guests today, and, Ami Houde, Ronnie, and everyone else. It's been a great day. We got a big race tomorrow. Race-desert.com is your home tomorrow for all things Mint 400 and the live stream. And they'll be kicking things off about 5 a.m. with Scott Rain on the live stream. I'll be on at some point tomorrow, but darn sure ain't going to be that early. But thanks for staying tuned to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. We'll see you next Monday with full results and the winners of the Mint 400.
I've got one question for you.